Alright guys, welcome back to the story thus far. Now guys, just to let you guys know and everybody out on the internet, last week was a two-part episode. Both episodes were downloaded last week, so if you listen to the first part, there's also part two there. So you can take a listen to it. I just thought it was maybe a little too much to put 6 continuous hours of D&D up on the internet, so we split it to 2-3 hour episodes. So you can check out the second part to last week's episode on YouTube. It's already up there. So this is going to be the story thus far, episode 8. But before we do that, I would like to give a huge shout out to Carl, who did the amazing graphic for that episode, which I used on the upload, and it was fantastic, and thanks Carl, I love it. Other than that, we have, again, the same regular Instagram information, but if you're not familiar with it, Courtney, what was the Instagram?
The Instagram is at _story thus far on Instagram.
Sweet. So we will update that regularly. You can see past and current episodes of the story thus far on that Instagram. Please give a like, give a share, a big heart, whatever you like. And then I believe we also have an email. So Sean?
It's storythusfar@yahoo.com.
Okay, so if you guys would like to send us any hate or love mail, we take them both at that email address, so feel free. Other than that, I think that is all we have. So are you guys ready to get into it?
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty intense last week, guys. Pretty intense.
I'm about to make it more intense.
Oh my goodness. Give that dwarf a little bit of armor and he gets all,
Yeah, he gets all
ballsy real fast.
lives are on the line, my friend.
You're right. All right. The story thus far, episode 8. Talvis, Barag, Terra, and Daedauls. You all find yourselves in the Tafa Desert, otherwise known as the Sanguine Sands. Currently, you are deep in the very first tome of Talos, searching for a relic that is said to hold great power to the faithful of Talos, the Threefold King. As the four of you head deeper into the tome, you uncover hieroglyphics that foretell an ancient prophecy of Talos' godly ascension to the material plane through someone you can only assume is his chosen and anointed. His vessel, if you will. You manage to uncover the very first holy symbol of Talos and fight your way through all manner of hungry inhuman beasts, chitinous umber hulks, and a long dead but still very active priest of Talos. Having defeated all who came between you and your goal, as well as having removed some items from the tome itself, Terra, you demanded Talvis relinquish the holy symbol to your custody due to his former relationship with the Order. Talvis, you argued that because of its importance to the cult of Talos and its general religious significance, that you were most qualified to be its guardian. A heated argument ensued, which Barag tried to act as an intermediary to allow cooler heads to prevail. Talvis chalked up your anger, Terra, to you losing your family, and began to walk away. Terra, you took your dagger and literally stabbed Talvis in the back. Talvis, despite the betrayal, you did not retaliate. However, you did fall to your knees and in contemplation, a different holy symbol in each hand. Terra, whether the heat of the moment, grief, or perhaps true intentions finally being revealed, you told Talvis and the rest of the group that once Zion Dazane was dealt with, there would be no reason for you to stay. Eventually, the four of you left the temple, only to find a large force of Zion Dazane's fanatics waiting for you. Armed to the teeth and with most of the excavation team secured for transport, you four were given a choice. With Elud Remur, the Elven Scholar and expedition leader, being held by knife point, the choice was simple. Hand over the holy symbol, or Zion Dazane's forces, to Zion Dazane's forces, or Elud Remur would, and everyone in her care would be executed. With a dozen innocent lives at stake, the four of you stood in defiance until finally the order was given. Kill the woman. So we are going to start with action right from the very beginning, and it's going to be a simultaneous round. So in other words, it's kind of like, it's not a surprise round. Whoever has the highest dexterity goes first. So what's your guys' dex?
10.
16.
13.
20.
So the way it's going to go is he says, kill the woman. So you have an opportunity, because your dex is higher, so you have an opportunity to take an action first, as this is a simultaneous round.
I'm gonna shoot my crossbow.
Do you have your crossbow out?
It's on my waist.
It's on your waist, okay. And where are you going to shoot it?
Does he have a knife or something?
He does. He has a dagger to Elud Remur's throat. So you can take aim at the...
I'm gonna take aim at the hand that's holding the knife.
Okay, that sounds good. So why don't you go ahead and make your roll, and I'll tell you if it hits.
I'm gonna turn it in inspiration.
The first roll, I'm turning in an inspiration. This is not going to be good. Alright, go for it.
Jesus Christ. 18.
18. Okay. His armor class is 13, so that definitely does hit. I'm going to say... Okay. Failed the strength check. So as the crossbow bolt sinks deep into his wrist, and right out the other side, and the dagger just falls to the ground. So who has the next highest dexterity?
So I have 16, so
That would be
me.
Okay.
Okay.
So you get to go right now.
Okay.
Is he in front of us or is he a few behind? Like, are there
He's in
people?
front of you.
Okay.
So I'm going to run and actually attack the one that she hit with the crossbow.
Yeah, and he's the one who's generally been doing all the talking.
Mhm.
He's kind of like the de facto leader of this particular group of cultish fanatics.
Okay,
Go.
so I'm gonna run at him and take a swing at him.
Incidentally, Talvis, he was one of the ones that escaped the temple.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna run and take a swing
Go
at
for it.
him.
Did you roll damage for me?
I did not
No,
roll
so
So
damage.
go roll damage.
22.
That definitely hits. So go ahead and roll damage.
It's like, I hope that hits. So 13 damage from me on that guy.
Okay. That was the first attack?
Yes.
Don't forget you get extra attack.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring it back
20.
and hit him again. 17, 18, 19, 20.
20.
He got 5 damage.
That hits. Okay.
5 piercing.
Very good.
Great weapon fighting, reroll the 2. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
11 total?
Yes.
Alright, so it was quick. It was like literally in a matter of 2 seconds, Terra from the hip fires her crossbow bolt, hits him in the hand, he drops the dagger. Barag runs quickly with Chimera rising in one hand, swings it around with both, and hits him. Bam! Bam! And he's on the ground now. Elud Remur kind of makes her way behind you, almost using you as a shield. Alright, who's next? You have 13 dexterity, yes?
Yes.
Okay, and I believe you've got 10 Talvis?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so go ahead. That would be Daedauls.
So I'm up. So he's on the ground already.
Yeah, there's over 20 other
20 other guys.
adversaries here that you're going to have to deal with. Keep that in mind.
So maybe we should. Well, he's on the ground, so it's like he's pretty much taken care of.
Could be.
He's still kicking.
Yeah, but what do we want to? Because remember, he has all his friends. So maybe we should start.
That's D&D.
Yeah, maybe we should start taking pot shots at them. Well, I'm gonna do a Eldritch Blast. I'm gonna aim one at the guy who they take out. I'm gonna aim another one at whatever the closest guy is to him.
Okay. There's 4 of them. 4 of them in the front are the ones that Talvis had met in the Elud Remur. You guys don't know any of that, but Talvis you do. So the second shot is going to go at one of the other guys from the Elud Remur as well. So go ahead and take your 2 Eldritch ones.
An 18.
That hits.
1 and a 12 plus a 6, right? 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
18. That both of them hit.
So yay.
So go ahead and roll damage for both.
4 damage for one guy.
Okay.
And then 8 damage for the other.
Nice.
So I guess 4 to the guy who's...
Yeah. Okay. So to the guy who Barag knocked down on the ground with his war maul, you take aim with your first Eldritch Blast, and you completely you knock half of his face off, and he's just lying in a bloody heap, not moving. And then the second one you hit right in the chest with your Eldritch Blast. You raise your hands up, shoot him, and the arcane energy hits him with force energy right in the chest. You think you hear a shoulder break. You hit him so hard. Well done. And then Talvis, your go.
So how we have these 4? You said
4 in the front.
And how far behind them are the rest?
Not far behind.
Okay.
You could definitely close the distance.
Okay.
Or you can bring the thunder.
Yeah.
Not really bring the thunder.
I'm going to bring the noise. I'm gonna use my channel divinity to maximize my next, let's say, thunder damage roll.
Sure.
And that'll
Also be aware that there is a cart with metal bars that is holding the rest of the excavation team. So take that into consideration if you start throwing thunder waves around.
Okay.
I smell barbecue.
And yeah, Talvis might not care at this point. No, he might though. So that's my action, and let's see, for I guess it would I would need to know where they are in space.
Okay, so should we get them on the board then?
Yeah.
So let's do that.
There's so many area spells here.
Right. Alright, so
Is there something representing the wagon?
the hoop.
The wagon.
Yeah, we can get this representing the wagon here. You guys can come out of the temple in this direction. So the wagon is here. These 4 were here. 2, 3. 4, and then you guys had come out of the temple from that little valley that you guys were in. I believe your minis are up there if somebody wants to grab them. Oh, Jared, can you grab your minis? Thank you, sir.
No problem.
So as of right now, that's kind of where you are, and you've got everybody kind of back here guarding the carriage.
Okay.
How many do you think you're gonna need?
What's that?
How many is this gonna
Oh no, your character.
Oh, duh. Yeah. That might help.
Make no judgment, sir. Make no judgment. Oh, that's fine.
What?
That is very harsh. But not surprised from Terra High Hill.
Okay, so you kind of get the idea of where they're situated. So what is it that you want to do?
So for my bonus action, I'm going to cast Healing Word on myself.
Sure. Remember, you guys are dealing with the same health scores as you had when you walked out, so you don't have full health. You have whatever you walked out of the temple with.
Or in my case, full health.
I'm at full too.
Are you?
Didn't
We rested,
We
and
rested.
I think I was the only one that took damage.
Okay.
Which hence the Healing Word. So.
Okay, so one is down. This one is the one that Daedauls attacked, and he is injured. The sound of falling dice. It's the sound of failure. Okay, so that's kind of where everybody's at on the board. And you guys have come out that way. So now you've got Barag, who is right here. Elud Remur is behind Barag now. So yeah, you get to go.
So that was my bonus action.
Thank you, Talvis, for making this far more complicated than it is.
Dun, dun, dun.
Thanks for my spell book. Okay, that's it. My turn.
Okay. You maybe set up 24 figures on the board.
No, it's
for a healing word.
It's no for my next turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're so happy with it.
Yeah.
Okay. And now we are gonna go. Actually, it's their turn. So prepare thyself. It's gonna be a lot of rolls, guys. So I apologize in advance. So we are going to go. Okay. We're gonna get 3 spiritual weapons. All up here, right here. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, why around me?
That's just how it is. It's just how it goes. And that is not going to, that's a bonus action. So, for their action, they're actually going to move back a bit. So, he's going to move back here. He's going to move here.
But they don't want to take on the dwarf.
Barag.
Oi!
You know, he's going to take the chance and leave, even though you will get an attack of opportunity, so don't take your attack. But he sees the writing on the wall. 18, so that is definitely so go ahead and roll damage.
Yay.
How this guy die trying to escape?
Great weapon fighting to reroll the 1. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 damage.
Alright, so that definitely does hit. So you cleave with your, not cleave, but you swing your normal, and you think you hear a busted kneecap as he kind of hobbles behind his heavier men. So, yeah. So now we are going to move everyone else in position. So we've got 10, 15, 40, 10, 15, 20, 30.
This is amazing.
Alright, so Barag is going to be the first to take some hits. What's your armor class? 19, right?
19, good sir. Good luck.
$21 does hit. Okay.
Ouch.
And that is going to be the first of 2 attacks from that one.
Okay.
The second attack misses, so he tries to hit you with 2 longsword attacks. Unfortunately, only 1 hits. rather fortunately for you.
Yes.
So you're going to take a total of 6 slashing damage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and next we've got who's in front of? Oh, Talos. That's Talos. Okay, so the next veteran takes 13. Is that it?
No, 18.
No. Okay. So the first one is a miss. Second longsword attack. I rolled exactly the same thing. 13 again. So,
ouch.
So both attacks with the longsword. He brings out the longsword. The hilt actually has a Talos carved hilt on the bottom of it, and he swings it twice. You just manage it manages to just glance off your armor as you kind of try to deflect some of the damage.
I snicker at him.
So that is going to be that. Now we are going to do some spiritual weapon damage. So they're going to roll for their attacks. So 23 for the first one. Second one's a miss. Third one is a miss. So, Talvis, you get nailed with a magic lightning bolt. That's the form of their spiritual weapon, lightning bolts. I'm just looking up the damage. If anybody who has spiritual weapon happens to know the damage,
Yeah, it's going to be 1d8
1d8.
plus spellcasting ability modifier.
Okay, thank you, sir. So you take 7 points of damage from the spiritual weapon as it hits you right in the neck. Alright, so the rest have taken their movement. Now we're going to get some ranged attacks from the guys in the back. So let's go ahead and make sure they've got line of sight. I think only one really has good line of sight. And that's on Barag. This is what you see a crossbow bolt just go flying past your head. And one of them tries to take a shot from behind. The rest don't have good line of sight. So now we're going to go ahead and roll initiative, since that was kind of like the surprise round. And as you guys are preparing, so go ahead and give me your initiative rolls, please.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. All right.
Halfling luck.
Oh.
I think halfling luck only
yeah.
for
Well,
attacks.
Critical failure.
So okay, so 1. Okay.
I think I rolled a 9.
9.
5.
5. Okay. Is that with your modifier? Your dexterity modifier added?
No, that's
So to
3.
add your.
So 12.
Yeah.
Okay. 12. So
Did you add your modifier to it?
Mine's
Oh.
9 then.
yours is 9.
If you're adding the dexterity and all
Well,
that.
yeah, that's what your
yeah,
initiative.
9.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we are not using that dice again.
And then Talvis. And they rolled horribly. So they go last. Alright, so.
Well, that's beautiful.
Yeah, Barag, you get to go. And you hear them as you are preparing for your next attack, you hear them yell, "We don't want this! We only want the symbol! We will kill these people! Their blood is on your hands!"
Your blood is gonna be on my hands! And I'm gonna attack the guy actually first in front of me.
Oh, by the way, I need everybody to make a perception roll.
Okay, perception roll first.
22.
16.
So yeah, I rolled it.
Modify 20.
Modify 20, okay. So what's your,
Oh, plus that's 6, right?
yeah,
That's 31, 56,
18, alright. So you all notice that there is a cloaked figure on horseback very far away from the main skirmish, kind of overlooking everything, kind of looking at what is transpiring, but making no moves.
Gee, I wonder who that is.
How far away, roughly, would they be?
I would say they're probably a good 60 feet, 60 to 70 feet. So I would place them right here.
Okay.
All right, so Barag, you go.
Yes.
I'm gonna like those. So a certain somebody decided to make them right out here too.
Oh, natural 19. That means it's a critical hit.
Okay, so
Actually,
on the one in front of you.
Yeah, the one right in front of
Okay,
me.
so go ahead and roll damage. That's one that you've already attacked once, right? Yes.
That is the one that I've been attacking already?
Yep. Oh no. Yes, it is.
Yeah? Okay. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21 damage.
How much damage does Chimera Rising do?
2d6 bludgeoning damage.
Plus.
So, plus my strength modifier, which is 5.
So why'd you roll 4 d6?
Because improved critical, I get double the damage because I rolled a natural 19.
Oh, I got you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm thinking 19. And I'm not thinking improved critical. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So what's the damage?
21.
Okay.
Damage.
So you reach back with Chimera Rising, you lift it above your head, you come down, you hit him so hard that his head caves into his chest as you completely destroy him. And he just falls back lifeless. You've got an extra attack.
Yes. So
ahead
he is dead.
He's dead. He's off the board.
Okay.
whack-a-mole.
Pretty much is what happened. Barag's whack-a-mole.
Yes. And on to the next.
Yeah. Now you do have movement. You can take your movement as well. So if you wanted to move him.
Yeah, so I'm actually gonna take movement this way and attack the guy to my left now.
Go for it.
17, 18, 19, 20. Not quite 20.
That's a hit. So go ahead and roll damage. And you see when Barag hits, when he kills that one guy, you see one of the spiritual weapons just disappear.
Great weapon fighting to reroll one of them. At least. So 8,
Nice.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13 damage.
Goodness gracious. Alright, so yeah, you hit him and you just see his shoulder just kind of collapse as you see one of his arms just kind of fall limp from the damage sustained by Chimera Rising. So, by the way, when you kill that one guy, as soon as you see his head cave into his chest, you hear from your mallet from just the lion roar from your kill. So well done. That's gonna end your turn.
Yes, that will be the end of my turn.
Okay, so after Barag, we have Daedalus. Alright, you're up, Daedalus.
Okay. See, I was trying to read what Magic Circle does.
Okay. Are you gonna cast Magic Circle, or?
I can reference this card if you want. 'Cause I have it.
So what do you want to do with it?
So just keep in mind, Magic Circle only will work on Celestials, Elementals, Fae, Fiends, or Undead.
Which none of these guys are, as far as you know.
Yeah, forget it then.
Okay.
Too bad.
So what are you gonna do? You gotta do it quickly, though.
No, I think I'm trying to cast Shatter.
Shatter? Go for it.
See here, do I have to go for that?
I believe. A second, I will tell you exactly what you have to do for Shatter. Okay, for Shatter, each creature within a 10-foot radius sphere centered on a point that you make makes a Constitution save throw, so you don't have to roll anything. You just say, I cast it, and it happens, and then they have to make a save
If I
against it.
cast it back here, will it hit the wagon?
If it's in a 10-foot radius, yeah.
So,
So you pick the point, and anything within 10 feet of that point gets damaged. Basically what happens is the sudden, loud, ringing noise, painfully intense erupts from that point which you choose.
what about right here?
Anything within that 10-foot.
So that's
Right. So,
5. So that's like 2 spaces. Away,
yeah,
right?
2 spaces.
So
Yeah.
5, 10.
All the way around that one point.
So basically anything around here.
Mhm.
This looks like it quite touches the wagon, right? Trying to judge the distance here.
Yeah. I mean, you could actually, if you wanted to, you could do it right here. No, that would touch it right here. So,
Yeah.
5, 10. So you could hit 3 of them if you wanted to.
Okay, I'm gonna cast it.
Right there? Okay, so you cast. Tell me, what does your shadow look like? What do you do when you cast it?
See, imagine kind of like a lightning charge sound.
Nice. All right. So now you do. It's 3d8 thunder, but because you're doing it at 4th level, it's 5d8. 5d8 damage because you're doing it. Is it 4th level or 3rd level that your spell slots are at your level right now? For warlocks.
I think it would be
I think it's a 4th level, right?
yeah, let me get to the warlock page.
It's a
Luckily I have that.
second level spell by default.
Yeah, but because he's a warlock, he casts all his spells at 1 level. Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's pretty
really
badass.
cool.
I mean, he's limited on the amount of spells that he knows, but they all cast at the same
So we're
level.
level
That's cool.
7, right?
Yeah.
We're level 7, right?
You're level 7.
Yeah, it's 4th level.
So, yeah, that's nice, dude. So you get to do 5d8 damage on that. So I need to make a con save against your spell save DC. So what's your spell save DC?
16.
16, alright. It's a miserable failure on the first one. A success on the second one.
Dang it.
And a success on the third one. So they still take damage, but they take half damage.
Half damage.
So go roll 5d8 for me.
Okay, so here's for the first guy who failed.
Well, it's just one roll.
Oh, 1 roll
Yeah,
for
it's
all.
just one roll for all.
Okay, so I have 10, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
24. Okay, so one of them takes one of them takes 24, and then the 2 others take 12.
Thank you.
Okay, so nice.
And that's one.
All right. So as Daedalus brings up his hands, you guys see this magical energy kind of swirl around his hand, and these magic runes appear in the air. And then at a point far away from you guys, you just see the shatter spell take a hold, and the way it takes hold, it's like vibrations, concussive vibrations in the air. You see like dust and dirt just explode from the center of this thing, and it takes a pretty large chunk of health out of 3 of those guys. So well done.
And then I'm gonna probably move back just a little bit, probably about here. I think I'm still in range for everything though.
Daedalus the Brave. I like it.
So I think I'm about here. I still think I'm in range for everything.
Okay.
At least for the people.
Well, don't forget, you for those right there, you are, but the ones toward the back, you aren't because you don't have line of sight.
Let's see, so I was right here. Maybe I'll move about here.
So you'll be able to see the ones in front of Barag, like the 3 that are closest to Barag.
Uh-huh.
But that's it,
Maybe I'll,
because that canyon wall is blocking your view. So just be aware of that.
maybe I'll just move right here then behind Talos.
Behind Talos. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So that is gonna end your turn. Good turn, Talvis. Your turn.
Now, are there from
No,
the,
I'm sorry. No, Terra, it's your turn.
Okay.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
Okay.
I am going to hold my action. Actually,
Are you gonna take any movement?
I'm gonna go stealth and take movement.
Okay. You have to get behind something.
I'm behind Barag and I'm behind whatever her name is.
Okay. I will say. If you move to your right and back, you'll be able to go stealth. Because right there, you're
Okay, I'll
pretty
do
much
that.
out in the open. Okay, so go ahead and roll yourself.
19.
Okay. So you think you're hidden.
Great. And I'll go. Right by where that guy is.
Okay.
Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Okay. So what do you do?
I'm gonna hold my action and
Yeah.
attack.
Okay. What
After-
what is going to be the trigger event?
After Barag attacks.
After Barag attacks? Okay. So you're going to lose this turn now.
Mhm.
Good. Barag is at the top of the order.
Well, never mind then. I guess I'll attack.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. 2. 11.
11? Okay. Unfortunately, 11 does not hit. This is with your offhand dagger.
21.
21 does hit, so go ahead and roll damage. You still get sneak
And I
attack
skip
damage.
sneak attack.
Yeah.
And assassin. No,
You know
assassinate was with the first one.
Assassinate was with the first one, but that's you have assassinate because you have advantage, but you didn't take the second roll for advantage.
I did not. It was the first. Oh
You
shoot.
should roll 2 attacks. So,
Okay, so this one is for the
Right,
first one.
got it.
So I'll roll for the second one right
Got it.
now.
Got it.
13.
That does hit.
Oh wow, that's surprising.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're casters, so they're squishy.
Oh. Okay. Million O dice.
They're squishy and they easily stood in front of us. They don't know the standard RPG
5,
tropes.
10, 14, 15 for Frostbrand
Okay.
and
So your
Assassinate.
Frostbrand dagger, it goes right through his ceremonial Talos dressing, right through, and you could see the red of the blood kind of soak right through the robe, the holy robe, as it goes in deep. So go ahead and hit the second one.
10, 20.
20
21, actually.
damage.
Damage.
Alright, so you see Terra go with 2, literally, she kind of goes to the back of the group, then disappears for a second, does a very Batman sort of thing, comes around, flanks, and just goes with both of her daggers, and they both strike true, and the guy just kind of like, didn't even see her there, he just kind of like cocks his head a little bit, falls down to his knees, and slumps over dead in the desert sand. Well done. Alright, the second end of your turn? So who is next? Oh, Daedauls. Oh, no, it's actually their turn.
Or I thought it was Talos. And then.
Oh, Talos, yes, you're right.
Poor Talvis.
So any of the bodies...
Again, you see another spiritual weapon just kind of vanish.
There's one left, right?
There's one left.
Okay. Any of the bodies that have fallen around me at this point, do any of them have a helm, like an armored helm I could pull off?
The ones in the back do. These are just casters.
Okay.
The ones in the front are the casters. And they were the 4 casters, or the 4 that you met in the expert meeting.
Okay.
You guys are making very quick work of them.
Is there any small object of any kind I could pull off of a body? Just like
They're all wearing holy symbols. Absolutely.
Excellent idea. I'm going to yank a holy symbol off of the one nearest to me.
Sure.
And then using it as sort of a focusing point for my own shatter spell, I'm going to hold it in my hand as it begins to vibrate, and then I'm going to heave it in the air, aiming along a path that would put it right over this gentleman's head.
Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah.
And as it flies over him, I'm going to trigger the shatter spell fully, which will create a 10-foot
Let me ask
radius.
you this, because I think I know where you're going. At head level, is that what you're doing?
I'm going right above his head.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
I'm into it.
and the shatter spell is going to trigger within that holy symbol.
Okay.
And are we counting in 10 feet in all directions?
In all directions.
Okay, so that's
a big kill zone.
it's going to be, let's see, everybody here plus this one, if I'm
Sure,
counting
yeah.
correctly.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Yeah, so right as it flies over his head, I'm going to trigger the shatter spell, which is maximized by my channel divinity.
Nice.
They do get the
I
saving
saw
throw.
the smile kind of creep up when you said that.
They,
Maximize damage, you know.
they do get the by the way, guys, they do get the saving throw.
Yeah.
But it's going to be on a failed throw. It's going to be 32 damage.
32
damage.
damage. Goodness gracious. All right, so you cast your spell. Let's start doing some saves.
Oh my
It's
god.
14 DC.
I rolled a 4 on the first one.
Ouch.
Yeah. Alright, so
Injured or dead?
5 on the second one.
Oh, great.
Boy.
I think we got 6.
A 6 on the
4, 5, 6.
Let's just keep going.
back to 5. You said 14 is the DC?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's a con. That's a con, right?
Yes.
14. He just made it. Okay, so
So he'll take half.
2 of them made it. 2 of them made it. So how many are there total?
So 6 total. So
6
4 of
okay.
them will take 32. The 2 that made it will take 16.
Got it. Ooh. 32, right?
Yeah. Because I'm. Oh, and I should mention I'm casting it at 3rd level.
So that is an extra D8.
So. Well, I'm already accounting for that.
Oh, you're counting for that. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Goodness gracious.
Four of them die, I hope.
No, not quite.
Yeah, just wait for me.
Okay. Right. Okay, so one of them looks in a pretty bad way. One of them is one of the ones that Daedalus hit. And you, as soon as you cast the spell, they all fall to the ground. It's almost like bowling pins. But one of the ones that Daedalus hit before, you see him grab. He's clutching the side of his head. He's got both hands on his ears, and you just see streams of blood just coming out of his ears, and he's just screaming. But he can't even hear himself. His eardrums are completely blown apart.
It's like, maybe we could talk crap about him. He wouldn't know.
Yeah.
That's what he's worried about right now.
Yeah. Stop hurting my feelings. All right. So is that gonna end your turn?
Let's take a little bit of movement.
Okay.
Hold on, does this mean this guy can't hear the vicious mockery?
He would be immune to vicious mockery. Yeah.
Aww.
He would be immune to it.
He doesn't need it anyway. He's on death's door, so.
More like Barag's door.
He's not getting hurt or he's like begging you just to end it.
That's the end of your turn. Yes.
Rising, take my life.
Okay. So one spiritual weapon attack does hit you, sir. That would be Talvis. And I believe it's
1d8 plus spellcasting ability modifier.
So you take 12 points of damage from the spiritual weapon as a lightning bolt sinks deep into your ribs, between the plates of armor, of your heavy armor. And so now we're going to do some movement. Some bad guys are going to move. Okay. Well, we're going to get a couple right here. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25.
I hope the internet heard that groan.
That is a patented Daedalus groan.
Yes.
25. So, as they march forward towards you guys, you hear a horn being blown from the back of the war, from the back of the skirmish. It is the person on horseback who's cloaked. And yes, and as you guys look, I will say it is their turn. So you see him kind of put him or her put their hand up in the air and then just kind of drop their index finger, and all of these warriors in the back just start taking the crossbows and nailing all the civilians in the cage, literally killing everybody in there. And once they do that, they are going to take their action to dash and retreat. So everybody here is dashing this way, and the cloaked figure on horseback in the back of the battle, you see him bring his hands up to the cloak and slowly pull back the hood, and you see the mirror image of Talos. And he smiles at you, and then he takes off on horseback.
And I noticed this.
You all noticed this. I will say your perception rolls were so high. You were all aware. And when he hears the horn, everybody kind of stops for a second and looks. And he makes it very apparent what he did. And he looked right at you when he did it. And when he turned away and ran.
Is this something? He's a mirror image of me. Is this something I've witnessed before?
Yeah. Remember you chased him into the
Yeah, it's
that mirror image.
You couldn't find him, remember?
Yeah, that's right.
Boy,
He's gonna.
Some prophecies do come true.
He's gonna get a bad reputation across these lands.
That's the least of your concerns as far as that dude is concerned.
Wow. Okay. Woo.
And he leaves the field of battle with what's left of his men, his warriors. Meanwhile, you guys do have these guys to contend with. So you've got about 3, 6, 9.
So these
10.
guys are all gone?
Yeah, they're taking their they're gonna dash next round, so they're taking regular movement because they've used an action to kill the civilians in the cart.
Mm-hmm.
Can we see them like preparing to run?
Yeah, absolutely. But you can't do anything until it's your turn.
Oh, I'm just gonna shout at them.
Oh, okay. That's
don't worry. We'll make sure we'll have you guys next time.
All right. You think you hear one of them squeak out a fart? I'm not quite sure.
Did you crack your pants? Seriously?
All right.
Oh, everybody point and laugh.
All right. So Terra, you get natural 20 I rolled on this time. So you roll damage.
Thank Jeebus for uncanny dodge.
That halves your damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. You have that uncanny dodge. I like it. Alright, so
Sure you do.
Tuck and roll, tuck and roll.
So 14 divided by 2, so you take 7 points of slashing damage. That was the first attack. They get 2 attacks, and I rolled a 3 on the second, so everybody has a pencil. There we go. So you take 7 slashing damage, as one of them takes his long sword, and he looks at you and he says, "Betrayer, all of you!" And he slashes you with his long sword. So that will end his turn. I will say the one to his left, he'll actually do the same thing. He'll actually take aim at you.
It's like, gee, what are we betraying? Your crackpot deity?
Miss. Guys, this is a continuation of last week. So bad. And then the next one is going to, you know what? He sees Barag and he sees Elud Remur. I think he's gonna know that he doesn't really have a chance with Barag, so he's gonna try and do as much damage as he possibly can. And he's gonna go for Elud. That is a hit. That's one hit. That's a second hit.
I like how when it's not us, he can land the hit.
So I know.
There's no way he can like jump in front.
So you see him take his long sword and literally like prison style, kind of almost shank her twice with it, and she just kind of falls down to her knees. She's dead.
Ah.
Yeah, she died. Well, leave her on the board because we do have a cleric on hand. So, and that is going and then we've got a spiritual weapon for Talvis, or not Talvis, but for Daedauls, and that is actually going to miss. And then we've got a melee attack.
I smirk at the caster. I'm like,
Okay, well, unfortunately, the melee warrior does hit you, so with a long sword, and he hits you twice, so 8 points. So 18. So you've got 27 points of slashing damage. As he takes his long sword and he hits you twice. The second one goes especially deep, right into your side. And that is actually going to.
I'm gonna use my reaction to that.
Ooh.
And teleport away.
Okay.
Kind of like over here.
Is that Misty Step?
I think that's Misty Escape.
Oh, Misty Escape. Okay.
Misty Escape. It's a reaction. I'm gonna teleport.
Okay, cool.
So I can still see everybody in front of me, though, right?
Yes, you can.
So I'm gonna teleport over here, and then I'm gonna start like licking my wounds.
Sure. Then we have a couple of heavy crossbows, but I think only one of them has line of sight on Barag. Everybody else is kind of blocked. So we're gonna do one on Barag. Barag, what's your freaking armor class of 1,000,000?
19.
19.
Yeah.
That's a miss.
Yay.
So you see one crossbow bullet just kind of whiz by, and then we've got 2 on Talvis. They both see you off to the right. So that is going to be 16. Does the 16 hit?
18 would hit.
18. Okay, so 1 miss and natural 18. So 1 hit. So you take 13 points of damage, piercing damage, as a crossbow bolt hits you right in the leg. And that is going to end their turn. So it is now back to the top of the order. Barag, you're up.
Finally, I've been itching over here.
Go for it.
So
you see Elud Remur fall to her knees, along with everybody else in that transport.
Mm-hmm.
You think you hear her scream out as she saw all of her excavation team murdered in front of her.
As this happens, all I'm gonna do is one dwarven thing. Ah!
Nice.
And I just turn.
So you guys all messed up.
Yeah.
You know what? Because you did that, I'm gonna say you get advantage on the first attack. I'm gonna give you advantage. I like it.
And I'm gonna swing right to the one that fell. The excavation leader.
Okay, so the one who stabbed Ulu?
Yes, the stab Ulu.
Sure.
I swing right and just pissed off, look at my face, and raise Chimera rising above my head. By the way, extra attack and action surge on this round because these assholes are going down.
Alright, go for it.
17.
Nice, so that's definitely a hit. You have advantage on the first attack, so you might as well make the second roll, see if you roll 20.
Yes. And you too.
Okay, so that is a hit though, so go ahead and roll damage on the first one.
12,
Oh my
14,
goodness
15,
gracious.
16, 17 damage on the 18 including the +1 on my damage for my advantage on my weapon.
That's crazy.
Dang.
So yeah, you hear his arm break at the elbow. That's just the first attack, right?
Yes. That's the first attack only.
Alright, go ahead, hit the second one.
Extra attack on him, and just to let you know, action surge is going to be on the guy to right in front of me. 13, 14, 15, 16.
That hits. This guy in the rolls!
15.
Unbelievable!
16 damage on that one. With my +1.
You want to describe the moment of your victory?
Oh,
'Cause I know this one was especially painful for you.
This was very painful for me, and as I'm screaming out loud, I get real close to him and just just bash his foot, and then just uppercut with Chimera Rising, and send his head flying up through the sky.
Nice. So you completely take the head right off the body, almost like you're playing golf. I'm sorry.
I'm like, hole in one.
All right. So you said you were gonna action surge, or you're gonna hold that?
I am gonna action surge, but as his head flies,
You hear one thing.
Yeah.
the satisfying death upon Chimera Rising is nice.
All right. So you do have an action surge. You can take it.
And I'm gonna action surge on the guy right in front of me. 17.
Woo!
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Finally, you rolled low. So.
Great weapon fighting.
Great
For
weapon fighting.
one of them. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 still.
Alright, so 9.
Yes.
Okay. So that guy, he's looking pretty hurt. Well done, well done. And as that one, your last attack, as you finish up your last attack, you hear kind of off, because you guys are kind of in a valley. Coming off of the ridge, toward the east of where the skirmish is happening, you hear a loud laughter, and you hear it for the first time this skirmish, but you hear it kind of like, and you hear it kind of approaching. You think it's approaching, whatever it is, and you hear big footfalls. You don't know what it is. You can't see it. So next we have Daedauls. Shit-talking Daedauls.
Yes.
What do you got?
Oh, I'm just gonna try and Eldritch Blast and try and take out. Hopefully, I'm gonna try and hit a couple of them. The one that he just hit.
Okay.
And then,
I will say this. You've got 2 in front of you. Neither one of them know where you went because you kind of teleported away. I will say you have advantage on your first attack if you shoot
on
one of
these
them.
guys?
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot the one closest to me.
Okay. So the one with the sword?
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead and roll twice since you have advantage.
It's a 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Okay. So roll again. You might hit a 20.
Same thing.
Okay. All right. So you do definitely hit though. So go ahead and roll damage.
Okay. And see, I aimed both of them, right? Or did I just aim one? No, this is just one, right?
This is just one. Yeah. This is the first one.
10.
Plus.
Oh, plus that's 6, right? That's 16.
Is this your damage, right? You're doing?
Yeah. It's
Okay. No, it's just a straight 10. Yeah, you don't add anything to damage.
Okay, so straight 10
So just
damage
10.
to
Okay.
him.
Nice. So go ahead and roll your second attack. That misses, unfortunately. Yeah. All right. So Daedauls, is that gonna end your turn? You want to take any movement or any bonus action? Terra, you're on deck.
I'm gonna try and. Is there a way I can like get around these guys without passing by them?
You will have. Well, not without. No. In order to get around them, you will have to pass them.
I'm just gonna kind of move a little bit more back. This, like right about there, I guess.
Okay. Okay. Yep. And that's gonna end your turn.
Yeah.
All right. Terra, you're up.
Alright, so
Talvis,
I am
turn up.
actually going to. Let me see. How many of them are next to me? 2 of them?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to. I'll attack the one in front of me, actually.
Okay. Go for it.
$18.
18 hits.
And then I'll roll for the second one. 15.
That does hit.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll damage.
And since Barag is.
You do get sneak attack damage, so you get to add your sneak attack dice to it.
Million of that.
Million of dice.
And then with my frost
Can you
brand.
imagine if you did assassinate?
Oh god, yeah, that'd be insane.
And we'd have to call like a dump truck full of dice and just pour it all.
Just bring it all in,
Yeah.
come on.
7, 10, 16, 22.
Describe your moment of victory.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Aww.
This is your with frost brand, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so yeah, go for it.
So I'm going to just stab up in his throat and twist it to where the frost kind of spreads around his neck, and then just cut it down to where half of his neck is basically frozen, and the other side is falling over.
So you make kind of like a Pez dispenser that goes to the side instead of front and back.
Mm-hmm.
Oof, gross, but yes, well done. You get a second attack.
Yes, and I'm going to get the guy next to me
Okay.
with second million O dice.
Yes. This is one of the guys that took some shatter damage. So you see, he's kind of like not, he's really got wobbly legs right now, like a boxer.
7.
Did you rolled to hit first?
Yeah. Remember I
Okay,
rolled the second
got
one. 13. 15.
15 damage. Okay. So your second dagger sinks deep right between his ribs as you pull it out. Is that going to end your turn?
Yep.
Alright, next we have Talvis.
So I'm going to cast Call Lightning
Okay.
at 3rd level. And is taking a potion, that's an action, right?
Bonus.
Oh, it's a bonus. Okay, cool.
If it's stuffing it down somebody's throat while they're unconscious, that's an action.
Got it. Okay, so for my action, I'm going to cast Call Lightning. It's going to be 5-foot spread, centered on, let's say this guy right here, about 15 feet ahead of me. And so it'll hit that one, and this one, is this one here or here?
There.
Here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I want to hit that one. I'll hit this one, and this one here.
Okay. Go for
So
it.
those 4 get a dexterity throw against 14.
Okay. That's a miserable failure. For the first one. For the second one as well. For the third one as well.
So that's D8.
All 4. Fail.
Oh,
Yes!
Dexterity saves.
Bye!
2 D10s from.
You know what? I'm glad I'm not a player. As bad as I roll, I'm glad I don't.
That's percentile.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, sir. Okay. So yeah, that's gonna be. They all failed.
Yeah.
Okay, so we 3d10
Miserable
against them. Let's see, I got 9, 10, 16.
16? Yikes.
And that is a concentration, so that'll set up.
Sure. So describe to me how this looks. What do you do to summon this Call Lightning spell of yours?
So I'm gonna stare up into the sky about 60 feet above this one's head, and just sort of 1,000-yard stare for a moment as the storm cloud begins to coalesce, and it's going to start swirling faster and faster and then glow a very bright blue, and in an instant a lightning bolt's going to strike down.
Nice. Yeah, and you see them kind of scream as the heavens kind of open up and this bolt comes from out of nowhere. Some of them may be questioning their deity at this point. I mean, they've seen the heavens open up and strike at them, so you hear them screaming as they take this damage, and some of them their cloaks catch on fire. I'll say, I'll give them an additional d6 of fire damage.
Ooh, okay.
I'll say that. So each one takes, Alright.
And for my bonus action, I'm going to take my greater healing potion.
Go for it.
That's 2d4 plus 2.
And the earth is completely blackened right where the lightning struck. So, as you finish your spell and deliver this devastating blow to the enemy forces, you see now coming over the ridge, you still hear the persistent laughter as he's coming over the ridge, and you see this giant woolly mammoth, probably about 6 to 7 feet tall at the shoulder, about 12 feet long, and you see a dwarven rider, and he's got a single sword in one hand, and he's got his reins on one hand and the sword in the other, and he's almost riding this woolly rhino like almost like a surfboard almost, and he's running right into the fray towards you guys. But it doesn't look like he's aiming at you. He's looking at the forces of Talos. So he's going to take his first attack. Actually, no, he is not going to. I actually rolled his initiative, and this isn't where in the initiative order he is. So actually, Starunia, the woolly rhino, is going to take her first stomp attack. So, and that hits.
I'm the only one who went, aww, in my head.
So, you see, okay, one of the ones that you hit, you see this horn about 4 foot long, just impale one of the ones that you had blackened with your call lightning damage, and it just is literally, he's just hanging off of her horn as it completely goes right through him. So then she stomps on the next one. So one of them that was kind of getting up from your call lightning, trying to get up back onto his feet, she just kind of just tramples on him and stampedes over him, and you just hear bones crack under her giant foot pads. Yeah, he's literally just a pile of broken bones and flesh and blood. Even his armor that he was wearing is completely flattened. And then the dwarf is going to... Alright, so, and he uses an action surge.
Oh, yes!
So, actually, extra attack, I'm sorry, not action surge. So, you see him with one sword cleave into one of them. I gotta roll damage. That's nice. That's nice. Okay, so, one of the veteran Talos followers that you had seen toward the back of the column, he takes out one sword, he slices one at the knee, and then takes out another sword and slices one in the back, and he just gets hit twice, almost simultaneously, as streams of blood pour. Ooh, I'll take one. Guys, cupcakes are being delivered. D&D stops when that happens. Thanks. So yeah, you see him dispose of another one. So 3 of them get taken off the board. Actually, the ones that you hit get taken off the board. So and you see this dwarf. He's just laughing as he's doing it. So next, it's actually going to be their turn, and they see this. And they are completely outnumbered and outgunned. So, they are going to try to run for it. So I've got 2 who are going to go in that direction, toward the northeast. And then I've got 4 that are going to try and run southwest. So Barag and Terra, you get attacks of opportunity on... No, actually there's... Barag, you get an attack of opportunity on 1 of 2. Okay. Terra, you get an attack of opportunity on 1.
Yay.
Okay? And they're going to take double movement.
Are they going to try and dash?
Yeah, they're going to use their dash action. They know there's no way that they can win this fight. Alright, so take your action.
So I pick 1 to attack?
You pick 1 out of the 2, because there's 2 that are leaving. But you only get 1 reaction per turn, so...
So I'm going to attack the one to my right.
Go for it.
17.
That's it.
13, 14, 15.
That's it. So go and roll damage.
Your weapon fighting.
Oops.
7.
Okay.
8.
Okay.
9, 10, 12, 13.
So you hit her right in the hip, and you hear a crack. That wormhole is heavy. And you hear a crack. She tries to take her dash, but she's only going to be able to move at full action, at dash, at full movement.
Mm-hmm.
So at regular movement, she's going to be at half movement.
Oh, yes.
So,
And then 15 for me.
okay, that does 15 damage?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, let me see how much health that one had. I think that one was one of the ones that had full health. Then you get hit. Okay. So you take a Force-bound dagger and stick it into that follower of Talos. You can see where the blade enters, it kind of freezes over, and he just kind of takes off, holding his arm tight to his side as he's running at a full dash. So what do you guys do?
So the guy in front of me is gone.
They're all gone, yeah. They all took off.
Okay.
You still have Elud Remur, who's there.
There, but not really there.
I think Barag is probably the only one who's aware that she was killed.
I'm gonna yell as all these followers of Talos are running. Where the fuck is your deity now, you pieces of shit?
So you hear, yes! From that door.
And, after the laughing session from our mysterious dwarven friend, I'm gonna yell to Talvis. Get over here, Talvis, we need your help! Elud have fallen!
You are now.
Okay.
Unless you
I'm looking here, I'm like, oh, they're all gone.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so I hear do I recognize a mammoth? Like, do I know what that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a mammoth, it's a rhino. It's a woolly rhino.
Oh, woolly rhino.
Rhino. Even that. I'm gonna move over there too to get back since it's all over.
It's not something that you see
Every day.
No.
Sorry to approach Barag. What's going on?
Elud has fallen, my friend. We need your help. What can you do?
I turn back towards the caravan, and as have they. I can't help them all.
Elud is important. Trust me.
You value her life over the others.
I value that those...
You got about 2 rounds left.
Okay.
If you're gonna do something.
I value that those lives that were lost, they will be a martyr.
1 round left.
It's your choice then.
4, 5.
And I'll cast Revivify on Elud.
Alright.
But I will need 300 gold.
We have 300 gold.
Technically it is diamonds.
That's fine. I'll take the gold equivalent is fine.
Okay.
I was gonna say I also have platinum if you want. If there's a.
No, it's just gold.
It's just gold.
I'll take your platinum. Sure, it's platinum. No,
We have
it's
platinum.
300 gold.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll go ahead and kneel down next to her and I'll place the coins around her body and then whisper an incantation as I lay one hand on her. Cast Revivify.
Okay. And as you cast the spell, you see the divine energy kind of wrap itself around Talvis and then through his hands and out of his hands and to Elud's body, and you see her eyes open very quickly, and she takes a deep breath as her chest expands with air and exhales. A bunch of blood is spat out, but she's alive.
I'll step back and sort of gesture for them to pay attention to her. You know, I'll remove myself from the immediate area.
Sure. So as you guys are tending to Elud Remur, you see the dwarf that has ridden into the skirmish, kind of making his way toward the cart with the bodies, essentially, full of bolts. But he's just looking for survivors. It looks like.
He's over there by the cart?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna I'll make my way over there.
Okay. So as you make your way over there, you see him. He's a hefty dwarf. He's thickly muscled and armored. The armor is not traditional dwarvish. You would know this, bro. But it's actually custom elvish buckled leather gear. Unlike most dwarves, his armor is tinted deep forest green, where for traditionally it's like almost like a gray, a stonish gray or bronze. But it's tinted a deep forest green with silver embellishments. All manner of weaponry hang from his belt, everything from bolos, hunting knives, throwing axes. He's got a set of elvish daggers in there. And I need... Who has weapons crafting here? Oh, you're an armorsmith then. You're a smith, right?
Yeah.
Are you a weaponsmith or armorsmith?
I have smithing tools.
Okay, so
I have
Terra
smithing
and Barag make a perception check. Perception.
I have proficiency in smithing tools.
19.
Okay, so
17.
you both notice that the daggers are of elvish make. They're beautifully crafted, and he's got also 2 elvish custom rapiers. Only, even though they're of elvish make, it looks like the hilt was custom made for dwarvish hands. Dwarvish hands are a different size, obviously, than elvish hands. So even though they're of elvish make, they're made for dwarven hands. Over his massive shoulder, he's got like this green cape that's slung over the left side of his body, and you notice a clasp that looks very familiar. It's a holy symbol of Hestia, and his hair is black as coal. It's very neatly kept and braided into a single thick braid, which is kind of peppered with silver ringlets and adornments that kind of wrap around his neck like a loose scarf, and trails down the middle of his back like some broad animal tail. The end of his braid is tied to a sharpened shard of heavy metal. Unlike most dwarves, he's very cleanly shaven, with not even a shade of stubble on his smooth chin. Right now he's just kind of looking through the disaster that has been left.
I'm actually gonna join Talvis over by where our dwarven friend has ventured over.
Sure.
I'm gonna walk up and I'm gonna put my hand on his shoulder and thank you for the warm welcome, my friend.
Unfortunately, looks like I got here too late. This is terrible.
This could have been a lot worse, but we still have the leader of the expedition alive, luckily.
Elud. Yes.
Elud. Yes.
And I came looking for her. Yeah. I'm glad to see that she's alive.
I approach at a slight distance with my hand on the hilt of my warhammer and say, well, we appreciate your intervention. You mind telling us where you hail from?
Who might you be? I see you're kind of wearing, Hestia.
My name is Talvis, and you've observed correctly. I see you are too.
Talos, I heard of you, and you've got friends. 3, huh? Yeah. Oh yes, I see.
That's one word for it.
Where's the halfling? Terra.
So I turn around to where Terra's at.
Yes.
So yes,
There she is.
that must be the one you want.
Oh yeah, I've heard of her too. Who's Barag?
I didn't
Yeah. Oh yes, I hate your guts already. Oh boy, where's the quiet one? There he is. You always ask for it. Wow, what a son of a bitch. Anyway, I'm with the bright rising rebellion. Yeah. Yes. come to save the day. Unfortunately, the day was already lost, it seems.
Not entirely. What is this Sprite Rising Rebellion?
Oh, well, we've got a network going from the Ashburn Moorings to the Terransby village. And when he says that, you see like his demeanor completely changes. And he continues to the Hebrew Nova. We're getting people out. They're dying. So there we go.
Certainly are. What can you tell us about?
So he kind of claps his hand. Runia, come here. So you see this big, huge animal. I mean, she's about 6,000 pounds, 12 foot long. He calls her, and she kind of stomps over to where he is.
What can you tell us about the Terransby village? Did many make it out of there?
Did many make it out? They're all dead. All of them.
You've made an accounting of this fact.
It's a pile of ashes. Yes.
All right then, and
it's terrible. I hate to see it. My own eyes. We got there too late. It's horrible.
Constantly travel, or are you based in a village or town?
Me and my twin brother. We're nearby. I believe you maybe head there, huh? I heard. Yes.
That's possible.
It's possible. Yes.
Where nearby is?
We're coming from the Alderman Wilster. Yes. Yes. Is that where you're going? Of course it is. You don't even have to answer that question.
So I back away a little bit more and walk back over to Terra and Daedauls. Say, you two may want to join us over here. Or you three now. And I nod at Elud.
Sure. So she gives you an embrace, a hug.
It's like, that's slightly uncomfortable, but I accept it.
Sure. I mean, you saved her life.
Yeah, and
so
I will, while she's hugging me, I will cast Cure Wounds.
Sure.
On her. I'll say from my ring, if I have it in there. I believe I do.
You did. You did put it in there.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll do that from the ring.
Go for it.
So that's gonna be 1d8. Where did it go? There you go. Okay, 8 total.
Okay, so that's pretty much her full health.
She's feeling better.
Yeah, not much. So thank you for saving my life. I feel guilty for even saying that. My team are all dead.
So
I don't know how to feel about this.
Not much that any of us can do now.
So, Denny, that's Denny's here. So you see her kind of making her way towards the dwarf. She's like, Denny! And he's like, Elud, I came for you. A little too late. Sorry about that. And he goes over there and gives her an embrace, a hug. So
He's coming.
Yeah, I guess.
Talos is like, yeah, I guess I'll join the adventure. Sure.
Why not?
You know what you guys doing? Playing D&D? Yeah, fuck it. Alright, so you see Denny. You heard her mention his name. He gently lays his hand on the leg of his mount. This thing is immense. She's a woolly rhino, 6,000 pounds, glorious muscle and horns, and he's just trying to get the body off of her horn because it's still impaled on her face. So I need. Okay, I need. Who does leather working? Anybody? No, I need you though. Who's looking for leather works in Terransby Village? Somebody was.
I was looking for a bag at one point.
You need to make a perception roll then, too.
Okay.
Because you had met the craftsman at Terransby Village.
Right.
So go ahead and make a perception.
12.
17.
Okay. So, you see the saddle and the saddlebags that lay across her back are made of luxurious, supple leather. And great care has gone into the crafting and maintenance of the very well-worn bags. The leather is made of auroch skin. It's just like a huge cow. A lot of orcs actually use that as mounts. And you see the hand stitching is unmistakably of halfling craftsmanship. You notice it from when you were shopping for leather goods at the Terransby Village, and you notice it as well, Terra. Like all craftsmen, and Barag, you know this, the artisan will often add perhaps an adornment or embellishment of some kind, perhaps a unique stitch or an unusual acid etching on the cutting edge of a blade, something to act as a craftsman or craftswoman signature. The hand stitching on these bags, you guys recognize, you two. None other than the leather craftsman from the Terransby Village. So
seeing this, I turn to our new dwarf friend and say, I see you've spent some time in Terransby.
yes, I have. Why wouldn't I? I'm a halfling.
You're a halfling.
I'm a halfling and half elf.
Okay.
You do have eyes, don't you?
I do. They've done me well up to this point. Can I do like a what would you call it? Like
Insight?
Insight on him?
Sure.
Yeah. 2d22.
Okay, so you've just met him, so you don't know him all that well. He seems to believe everything he's saying.
Right. I'll turn to Elud and say, what do you know of this fella? I don't know what they call him at this point.
He's a halfling. She just says quietly. Halfling?
I'm gonna like slightly shrug and wink at her like
Half-elf.
halfling.
Yes.
He must be rather...
She kind of like points at his head.
Yes, he must be rather valuable to you to tolerate such a thing.
Oh, he is a joy to be around, I will tell you, and I don't say that sarcastically. None other I would have by my side. Crazy and all.
I don't know you that well either, but I suppose I don't have much choice but to accept it.
Well, you know me well enough to go into a tome of death and retrieve something for me.
Ah, yes.
So,
Oh,
let's not split
I don't know
hairs
that
here.
I know you that well,
Okay.
but I did go in there.
And you saved my life.
Yes, yes.
I think we're pretty much
We're
kind
getting
of bonded at the hip at this point.
Oh,
You're welcome.
Thank you, Barag.
Yeah.
She kind of graciously kind of bows to you, and she kind of puts her hand on Starunia, the woolly mammoth, and you see her just kind of like kind of getting the mosquitoes and the little bugs away from her ears, shaking a little bit, and then he's just kind of like wiping the blood off of her horn. He's like, I told you not to go that hard, honey. Come on. So, you guys, we're going, right, to the Ulster? Yes? Alderman Ulster?
That's where we've been trying to get through this whole time.
Yeah, well, it's fucking hot out here. It's a desert. I feel like I'm dying here.
I agree with you.
I hate the heat. I gotta tell you. Let's go.
Hey, let's get a move on.
can I hitch a ride with you there? And I point up at the rhino.
Starunia.
Yes,
Oh. You can't handle Starunia.
I certainly try.
Oh, you'll end up on the horn like this other fella.
Oh, I'm sure she's gentler than that. I mean,
I
he
don't
was
know,
on the
man.
wrong end there.
I don't know, man. We've seen how you get on a horse, so.
You know what? For the hell of it? Yeah. Go ahead.
Alright.
Go ahead.
So I'm gonna attempt to.
Just don't get on.
Yeah, I would like you to do an animal handling check.
Okay. I had the D20 ready.
Yeah.
I know what this is
I saw it in your hand. I know you did.
I'm like, this is not gonna go well.
18.
18.
Yeah.
So she's a big animal. She's almost 7 foot at the shoulder. But there are in this custom-made saddle, there are actual handholds for Denny to actually climb on the side of the saddle and get on top. And you are able to find them easily enough and get on the saddle. It's a comfortable saddle, and she doesn't buck you. You grab the reins, and she doesn't buck you at all. It's almost like she doesn't even feel that you're on there. You're very light to her.
I look down at Daedalus and say, easier than the horse.
Wow. I was afraid you were gonna get on backwards.
Well, I'm good for now. You want to give it a shot yourself? It's easy.
No, thank you. I'll walk.
Good choice.
So he kind of pets Starunia, and she's unusual. She's got very finely manicured coat, almost like her owner. Very like dwarves usually don't give a shit about their outwardly appearance. Barag, case in point. But he is very he's cleanly shaven. His hair is brushed. It's braided, very very long. And she's the same way. She's got little embellishments and braids in her fur everywhere, and so yeah, she's very well pampered. It looks like she looks like a very pampered woolly rhino. So she starts moving forward, and he's just kind of grabbing her by the headpiece, the reins, as you guys are walking, finally heading west from the Tappa Desert into the grasslands.
Finally.
Yeah.
Everybody's walking but me.
Everybody's walking but you.
I thought he was going to get on it.
No.
Oh.
It's almost like you're one of those little kids at a petting zoo that you kind of get on the goat and he's just kind of leading you.
I was thinking more like royalty on one of those carriages,
Okay.
Yeah.
You can think that.
I like that look. I'm going to stick with that.
Okay. That sounds good. So, King Talvis is on top of the mountain. So, as you guys head out to the Alderman Wolster, which is due west of the Sanguine Sands, the Tappa Desert. It takes a couple of days to actually navigate the desert, and I'm going to do a couple of survival rolls with advantage, because you guys do have to eat, you guys do have to drink, so I'm going to do that with advantage, and he's got a pretty high survival rate. He's a ranger. So, okay, so he does manage to scrounge roughly enough food for you guys for one day and one evening. And you can see as he's looking for water, it's like something that him and Starunia do. She'll kind of like press with all her weight down on a soft spot in the desert, and you'll just see like water kind of pool up where she steps, and he's able to kind of gather some of the water and then boil it and make it drinkable, potable water. So obviously they've been together long enough where they're able to do that. So you guys make camp, and who wants to take watch? Oh, you guys don't have to take watch.
I will take first watch.
Okay. All right.
While he's taking his first watch, I'll do a little meditating.
Sure. Why don't you go make a perception roll? And you will have filled your spell slots, Master Daedalus.
Yeah.
Nope, it's gonna fail.
It's a critical fail.
Yep.
Everything is hunky-dory. Everything is so quiet, guys, in the desert. Yeah.
Is this going to be a long rest in theory?
It'll be a long rest.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys are camping for the night. Considering Elud got stabbed, even though she's at full health, But yeah, you guys will be camped out for the evening. So who's taking second watch?
I'll take second watch.
I will go to take a nap, but as I go, I say to my armor, Claude hath room in Dwarvish, and my armor just detaches and forms in a perfect statue-like form.
Nice.
Right next to my bed, just chills.
Awesome.
Right there while I go to sleep.
Awesome. With the helmet too?
Yep, the helmet, everything.
Nice.
Perfect stance.
I like it, sir. Style points. Alright, who's next?
I'm taking next.
Talos?
Yes.
Am I still meditating or am I all done?
You only have to meditate, I believe, for 4 hours, and that's considered a long rest. So after your 4 hours, you're ready to go.
So can I aid him on his watch?
Sure. You can do that with advantage. So you can make a perception roll with advantage.
So that's pretty high, but let's see. So 24.
24. Okay. So the evening is still. It's very quiet. You do notice the regular amount of wildlife that you would see in a desert. Jackals, coyotes, birds of prey, scavengers, but nothing ominous or life-threatening comes at you. Having a 6,000-pound mount in the camp will dissuade just about anything. So it would seem.
Am I resting? Is there enough space for me to actually be like kind of conked out on top of this mount, or am I on the ground now?
You're on the ground.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that you guys all in your packs I believe your starting gear, you have bedrolls and blankets and stuff. Okay. So Terra, you're up next.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So make a perception roll.
15.
15. Okay. Much like Talvis, it's all quiet out in the desert this evening. By the way, you guys all notice that when you are able to rest, you guys are having terrible nightmares. They're all very vivid, and they're kind of like those dreams that they feel real when you're having them, and you kind of wake up thinking that you're falling, and you catch yourself, and you realize that you were just dreaming. Each one of you has a dream like that. So
That we're falling, or just like horrible nightmares?
horrible nightmares in general, but they're very vivid.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So anybody want to do anything before you start the morning?
Can I say that I took my armor off?
I'm assuming you did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm assuming you did.
I did, and that'll be it for me.
Awesome. All right, so you guys head out the next morning. You grab yourself a big breakfast. Luckily, Rory has plenty of rations, so he was able to scavenge quail eggs and even hunted a wild pig. And so you guys have big hunks of pork, wild meat, bacon, and eggs. And before you head out, you guys heard him throughout the whole night laughing.
I like to look to Terra and go, woo, you crazy.
All right, so
stare off in one direction.
Yeah.
After that,
you guys ever bothered to talk to him?
I was trying, but he was fascinated with Elud. He was like, "Hee."
Yeah, well, they're friends. They go back a long way. So that's it. She's really the reason why he ended up there. So you guys continue heading west, and as the crimson landscape of the Tapa Desert, otherwise known as the Sanguine Sands, it gives way to grass and prairie lands. But you abruptly find yourselves in a much more humid climate now. The humidity hangs thick in the air and it sticks to you almost like a second skin. Gnats and mosquitoes the size of birds usher in the burgeoning, fetid swamplands, home of the alderman Wilster. The dark swamplands sing with the sounds of wildlife, both great and small. As Starunia clomps forward unhindered, you can actually hear the suction of her footpads being pulled from the mud as she continues to lumber forward, and despite her size, she's only slowed a bit. As you enter the east end of the village, You notice the structures of the village are simply made, if not utilitarian. Barag, I need you to make a perception check. Now, you have stone cutting as a dwarf, so you get to double your proficiency bonus on this history check. So go ahead and roll.
And I have natural 19.
Natural 19?
Yeah.
Okay. So, as you're first entering the village, you're looking at all these buildings, and the materials used in the construction is not traditional building material, you know, but swamp mud that has been heated and hardened into bricks, probably using a smithy's oven, as wooden structures would completely fall apart due to rot in this sort of humidity, in the humidity of a swampland. There are no roads, but often traveled paths of hardened mud and earth. Oil lamps kind of dot the perimeter of the village, giving off a faint glow before being swallowed up by the darkness of the swamp. The villagers themselves are incredibly diverse. Most are of mixed blood. You remember Juhan telling you that the village of Elven Worcester was almost exclusively races of mixed blood, half elves, half orcs, things like that. And you remember his daughter is of half orc descent. So you do see a variety of mixed blood races. You even see a couple of tieflings with commingled lineage. And I need everybody make a perception roll, please.
18.
21.
Nice.
15. I rolled a 1. So plus my meager was a 6.
So as everybody's walking into the village, Daedauls accidentally bumps his head into a tree. But
Who put that there?
The rest of you, as you all look around, you notice everyone seems to be wearing a Hestia holy symbol, whether inlaid in a bracelet or a necklace. And you do notice the central building in the village in particular, because it specifically has a Hestia village or Hestia symbol carved into the front of the building. So you can surmise, based on what Juhan told you, that this village was set up by the Order of Hestia as a refuge for people of mixed blood lineage. As you all slowly travel through the village, the people of the Aldermen of Ulster see the four of you come in. But when their eyes see Talvis for the first time, you see something that you haven't seen in a very long time. You see hope in their eyes. And as you slowly make your way through the Aldermen of Ulster, Talvis, they bend the knee and bow their heads to you. Hestia protects, Hestia provides. You hear kind of peppered in conversations that are murmured and whispered throughout the crowd. Terra, Barag, Daedauls, and Talvis, you have finally made it from the Abu Nova to the Aldermen of Ulster. What would you like to do?
So as I'm walking and these people are bowing, my eyes just kind of widen a little bit and I nod at them, not quite sure what to say, but not wanting to give anything away, as it were.
Sure.
And just kind of nod
Sure.
silently.
Okay.
And I'll make sure that the holy symbol is visible above my armor.
Everybody sees it. Yeah. And as you know, as you're kind of acknowledging people silently as you walk into the village, you hear a small voice, a child's voice. You hear a young girl yelling, "Where's my father? Where's my father?" And you see the crowd kind of break for her, and you see a young half-orc, about 8 years old. She sees you, and her eyes kind of widen, and she runs over to you. "Where's my father? Where's Juhan? Have you seen him?"
I have seen him.
"That's his symbol. I would recognize it anywhere. It was his very first symbol when he first took his oath."
He gave it to me himself.
"Where is he?"
He didn't make it out of the Abu Nova.
So you see kind of like everybody kind of deflates. There was this moment of there are more people from the Order who are here to help us. And you just see, like, the second that you say Jahan didn't make it, you just see people kind of lose a little bit.
And I'll look around to look directly at her and then around to everybody. Say, if this town is to be saved, it is because of his sacrifice. Whatever comfort that may bring you.
What happened? I don't understand. He said he was going to save us. He would find a way.
And he may yet.
So you see her chest starts to inhale and exhale much more rapidly, like a child who is trying to fight back tears. And a couple of the villagers like go over to her and start, it's okay, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine, Makun. She'll be. They're here to help us. I'm sure of it. So, Terra, what were you gonna say?
I'm gonna go to the temple.
Okay.
I'm just gonna make sure that nobody follows and just head there.
Make a stealth roll.
22.
Okay, so you feel you're reasonably hidden.
Okay, I'm gonna head to the temple.
Okay. So as you head to the temple, it is humid as hell out in the Elven Scholar. I mean, it is swamp. You're covered up to your knees in mud, water, and dirt. There are mosquitoes everywhere, but people call it home. And it smells very earthy, like dirty, everywhere you go. But you do make it to the temple, and of all the buildings in the village, this one seems to be the most well taken care of.
Is there anybody in the temple, like a priest or?
There's several people of the Elven Scholar in there, but you get the impression that Jahan was probably the one who led this particular religious faction in this village.
So I'm gonna just sit towards the front, like by the altar.
Okay. So you see a half-elf, an elderly half-elf man and woman. Make a perception roll.
Can I use halfling luck?
Not with a perception roll.
Okay, 3, 6.
Okay. So it's a quiet place of worship. It's very well lit. There's a lot of oil lamps. It seems like it's always well lit. The doors are always open, so to speak. So yeah, it's peaceful. It's quiet, but just as humid as everywhere else.
So I'm just gonna take out, let me see where is it. I have a lucky charm that I have.
That's it was part of your starting
yes,
year, right?
Yes. And what it is it's a copper piece that my mother gave me to start off on my journey. Because that was the only thing that she could give me money-wise.
Sure.
Before leaving Terranceby. I'm just gonna kind of run it through my hands, and I'm just gonna start crying.
Okay. So you sit in the church and you kind of have this moment of peace and quiet, and you finally have a moment to have thoughts for yourself. And this particular temple seems quite peaceful. You do have kind of like an aura of, you feel at peace within this temple. And you don't know if it's the people or the building itself, but the hurt doesn't hurt quite as much. That's kind of how you feel.
Mm.
So as you're sitting there, somebody sits next to you.
I'm gonna...
Human. Yeah. So he looks over to you and he's, I don't mean to disturb you.
Well, you're not disturbing much.
My name is Kafil.
Kafil, pleasure to meet you. Terra, nice to make your acquaintance. I'm just gonna start like wiping my eyes as fast as I can.
Sure. So, times are tough for you, I suspect. I heard about what happened in the village a few days east. Are you a refugee?
No, an adventurer, trying to take down this cult, and my family got hurt instead.
I originally am from the Ashburn Moorings myself. I recognized you when you guys came in. I thought I was seeing things, but sure enough, it was you guys. But glad you're here. I mean, if you can do what you did at the moorings, I mean, we're no immediate danger. I think the swampland prevents large troop movements from coming in. That's really the only reason why we haven't been taken over, I think. But I don't know about the Ashburn Moorings. I'm afraid. I mean, it's kind of valuable real estate being right on the water, you know.
Well, that's bound to happen, as you can see with me village.
Yeah. I'm sorry if you lost anybody there.
I lost everything.
So he kind of looks down, and you can tell he's kind of at a loss for words. And he's like, I'll leave you to your thoughts, Miss Hale.
Aye, it's best if you do.
So he kind of bows his head and leaves. What are you guys doing?
I'm gonna try to see if there's any leader of this camp.
Sure. Make an investigation roll. I'm getting cupcake frosting all over my notes.
Yay. 16.
So you walk around the village. It doesn't take long. It's a small village, so maybe about 10 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
And there are village elders in the village, but there is no de facto leader. If there was a de facto leader, it probably would have been Johan. From the information that you're able to gather.
Yeah.
Johan was the guy that everybody looked to when times were tough.
Mm-hmm.
When the village prospered, it was because of Johan. He literally did everything for the village. Mainly he did everything for his daughter.
Yeah.
There's an old elvish woman named Thupneem, and she would be kind of like, she's the elder of the village right now.
Okay.
So people kind of look to her. She's not the official declared leader, but people look to her when they need guidance. So
I'm gonna approach her.
okay, you do find her. She's kind of tending a garden that refuses to grow because it's swampland.
Yeah.
But she is determined to get something grown at this garden. It's actually behind the temple.
Mm.
And you see her kind of like, she's in the mud and she's trying to make, she's putting seeds in there, and she's got like a couple of seedlings that have sprouted and then dead. You know, the little sprouts have died, and she's just like, oh, I can't seem to get these to grow. And she's kind of talking to herself, and she's like, why won't you grow, little seedling? And she's older elf woman. She's probably about 400 or 500 years old by your guess.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Silver hair, pulled back into kind of like a mom bun.
Mm-hmm.
Simple robe, simple clothing. She does have kind of a symbol of Hestia as well that she wears. It's almost everybody kind of wears that symbol.
Yeah.
So she's back there, kind of tending a garden that refuses to grow.
So I approach her. So I see you're having no luck with the garden there, my friend.
So she kind of looks at you and didn't know I was going to have a guest. So she kind of picks herself up off the floor and puts her hand out and says, I'm Thupneem.
Nice to meet you. I'm Barag Drak.
Barag Drak. Nice to meet you too. My, that beard must be something to deal with in this humid weather, huh?
It is, but I can't seem to part with it.
I understand. You're as stubborn as me, I think. I'm gonna get this garden to grow one day.
Well, I bring dire news from the Abra Nova. We were sent here.
What dire news? John is okay, isn't he?
No, we have a friend we're traveling with, Talvis. It's dire news as Johan didn't make it.
So you kind of see the breath kind of escape from her lungs. So she just, her eyes widen and Milkune, that's the first thing that comes out of her mouth is Milkune. Milkune is gonna be devastated. Have you told her?
Talvis has broken the news to her.
Oh, Hestia, please. Milkune will need me. Where is she?
She's out front by the temple ways, but we have to get you guys out of here. That's the other dire news I have.
Is an attack imminent, or?
They're coming for us. We fought them off as the forces of Talos at an old temple of Talos, the first temple of Talos. They're coming here.
Johan said he would find a way to stop them.
Well, you may want to speak to Talvis.
I think I may have another resource.
Well, any news you would want to share?
Make an
with me
insight
would be
roll.
great. 18.
18. Okay. You can tell she has more information. But at the same time, she just met you literally 10 seconds ago.
Yeah.
So, you're not wearing a symbol of Hestia. So she doesn't really know how much to share. It's not that she's being deceptive, it's just that you're literally a stranger that she's talking to now. So
Yes.
I can't worry about what Cyan Zane is going to do or where she is right now. I've got a little girl who needs me. That's what I have to put my attention to right now.
I understand, but please speak to Talvis. He carries the symbol that Johan used to carry.
Very good. I will speak to Talvis. Thank you. I wish the news was better, but I thank you for bringing it.
I wish it was better too, but in this time of need, I have to warn you, war is imminent.
We had hoped to avoid it by seeking refuge here, but it does not seem like we will be excluded from Cyan Zane.
She's gonna come here. She knows where we are headed. And like I said, speak to Talvis more. This is not my part to tell.
I will. Thank you, Master Barag.
You're very welcome.
So she kind of takes off. Daedauls, what are you doing?
There's no real shops here, are there?
There's commerce here, yeah, sure. They're small shops. I mean, it's not like the Ashburn Moorings or even the Terransby Village that had very limited shops. Mostly, it's stuff that people use to get by in living in the swamp. A lot of fishing gear, hunting gear, things like that. Every once in a while, you'll get a kind of like a traveling merchant that may wander through the swamp, peddling wares, but nothing like in the Ashburn Moorings.
So what kind of shops are there? Like, is there just
Make an investigation roll.
20.
Okay. You find an armor smith. The armor smith, he's actually doing double duty. He's making these bricks out of mud. And that's mostly what the smithy's the smithy is doing, is kind of making building material. And you just see large piles of these oven baked bricks behind the smithy. So you see him, he's a hefty half dwarf. He's a mixed blood, definitely, because he's a bit taller than a regular dwarf. You can't really nail down what other race he's mixed with. You just see him kind of banging a mallet. He's got a big bushy red hair, red beard, completely bald on the top though, and covered like everybody else, covered up to his knees in swamp fetid water and mud. And he's just banging away at the anvil with his hammer.
Yeah, that's the only shop in town.
What's it? But this isn't a metropolis, so.
I know. I guess since he's an armorsmith, there isn't much I can buy from him. So, well, that's again, just kind of just walk around, stretch my legs.
You do find a tavern. It's kind of like the central location when people aren't tasked with doing a duty. That's kind of where they go. So it's called the Missing Tooth Inn.
Well, I'm gonna go see if I can find something to eat then.
Okay. All right. So you go to the Missing Tooth Inn, and it's not a wooden floor. The floor is actually made of the very brick that you saw the smithy kind of making in the oven. And it's barely a bar. It's some pedestals with a plank of wood that serves as a bar, and you see kind of like these barrels of some sort of liquor, you would assume, and a lot of fresh water. They serve a lot of fresh water here.
So I'm gonna sit down, and since I was just in a desert, I'll ask for some water.
So they're more than happy to help you. So you do see a half-elf gentleman. His name is Ohm, and how are you doing, sir? Welcome to the Missing Tooth Inn.
Yeah, it's a nice little establishment you have here.
Thank you very much. Thank you. What brings you, stranger? You're a half-elf like me.
Oh no, I'm just an elf.
You're just an elf. Don't sell yourself short. Just an elf.
No, my name is Daedauls.
Daedalus.
We're here on
Unbelievable. You wouldn't be Daedalus Hartwell, would you?
Why, yes I am.
Son of a gun, Hartwell the Magnificent, here at my tavern.
Wow, my name stretches far.
Yeah. Wow, I heard about your performances at Terranspeed Village. My God, before it went away. But yeah, I heard about I didn't know that you were coming to a swamp. What brings Hartwell the Magnificent to a swamp? I don't understand.
We're here to bring, unfortunately, bad tidings. Zainda knows. And she will definitely be sending everything. So we do have to probably get you guys out. We are here on behalf of Johan, who unfortunately did not make it out of the Nova. He died because he failed to win one of their really stupid contests.
Oh, Milkoon, anybody?
Yeah, unfortunately, she already knows.
Oh my God.
She is being comforted right now.
That's good. That's good. And you guys are friends of Johan?
Yes, we made him a promise. If he didn't make it out, we will come to the aid of your village.
Well, thank you, friend Daedalus. We definitely appreciate your... And you just see him struggling to kind of process that Johan is gone. And you kind of surmise, every time you guys say his name within the village, you kind of surmise that he was a very important figure to everybody here. Like, everybody seemed to have some sort of personal relationship with him. And the reaction is the same everywhere you go. So, okay, water is on the house tonight. Well, I've got some gator cooking up. I can get you a plate if you'd like.
Sure, that sounds great.
So you see him, he kind of like walks off into, it's not even like a kitchen, it's like a grill. It's not a full functioning kitchen. But you see him kind of like shuffle off to where the gator is cooking, and he's preparing it, but it's almost like he's not even conscious of it. He's just like in a daze. So Talos, what do you think?
Let's see. I am going to find or attempt to find the dwarf that came in on the rhino who
Denny?
got here with Denny.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to find Denny.
Sure. So make an investigation roll.
Oh. 9.
9, okay. It takes you a little while, but you do manage to find him over by what passes as a stable. Which, when you finally find him, you should have been like, oh, that should have been the first place I checked, was the stable. So, but you finally managed to find him at the stable, and he is shoveling up the biggest pile of shit you've ever seen in your life. A 6,000-pound rhino makes a lot of crap. And he's just shoveling this crap, and he's like, this is the worst part of owning this thing. I hate the smell of this shit. He's just shoveling it.
I approach reluctantly. Excuse me, sorry to interrupt your
nose, I hope.
Yeah, sure. While holding my nose until I adjust enough to not have to do that. And I say, sorry to interrupt your task.
Yes, Talvis, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Would it be
nice to see you.
And you as well. Would it be
This sucks. You want to grab a shovel and help me?
Oh, you look like you've got it handled quite well.
Oh, no.
So I even more reluctantly grab a shovel and engage him in conversation as
Sure.
I'm piling this stuff up. And
Sure.
Really, we can't stay here too long. This place will fall if Zayanda sets her sights on it. There's not even a question.
Oh, well, yeah, she'll kill everybody. For
Yes,
sure. We're all dead.
I'm glad you see that.
Yeah. She's gonna hang us all.
So this yes,
Yes.
and that would be rather quick for her.
Yeah. Yes. Or she may torture some of us
Yes.
for hours.
Indeed.
We're so
As I'm just
Yeah.
heaving this stuff, struggling a little bit
Yeah.
with the smell.
The smell is something special.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this rebellion you spoke of.
Bright Rising.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will
Yes.
need to engage them fully if we are to save these people and mobilize them to a safer place.
Ah, yeah, you're talking about the leader of the Bright Rising Rebellion, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
And who might that be?
I know who he or she is. I'm not at liberty to say, though.
Well, I'm in the position of helping save all the lives in this town. I'm just hoping you may sort of enable that process a little bit rather than hinder it.
Well, I'm not a decision maker. You see, I am at the bottom of the totem pole.
Who's, can you tell me who might be right above you, if not your leader?
Well, listen, they probably know that you're here already. Yes, they do. So, if they want to talk to you, well, they'll talk to you.
Fair enough. And I finish my last shovelful of this shit.
So he says, no, stay! Help me shovel this shit, would you?
Information for shit shoveling. How about that?
Kind of a hard bargain. How about this? first round of water is on you.
Alright, I will fiddle with that, and I'll just shovel a few more and plant it and walk out.
Okay. So you leave?
Yeah, I leave, and I'm gonna go in the direction that I last saw, if I did see him, Barag.
Okay. Barag, you saw. Make a perception. No, let's make a investigation roll.
23.
23. You saw him go into the temple.
Okay. So I will go in that direction.
Okay. So you do meet the very handsome Barag. Drac.
DM's words, not mine.
Four-toed Barag.
Yep.
Uh,
I'm gonna be stroking my beard as he approaches. Just gonna be stroking it.
You're taking this very easy, sir.
Well, this place provides no safety for the citizens here. We need to move and quick.
I agree with you. I've spoken to the elder here. I've told her to go seek you out and speak to you.
And where did you last see her? I may need to seek her out myself.
She said she was going to find the daughter of Jahum.
Oh, okay. Well, first,
So
I say we gather the others. I can't spread this information too thin.
Make a perception check.
10.
Okay. That's enough. You, as you're talking to the ample-bosomed Barag, you see just kind of past his shoulder. You do see Milkun, the daughter of Juhan, and she's holding something in her hand. It looks like a book of some sort, and she looks like she's trying to get your attention, without trying to get your attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like it looks like she's got something to say to you, but she doesn't want to kind of disrupt you and Barag, so she's just kind of patiently waiting.
So I'll hold a hand up to Barag, like to say, just hold on, and walk in her direction. And she's little, like
She's 8.
small.
Yeah, she's half orc. So
Okay.
for an 8-year-old, she's still pretty big. I mean,
Okay.
she's larger than an 8-year-old human,
Okay.
for sure.
So I don't need to kneel to talk to her.
She's smaller. I mean, she's about 4 foot tall.
Okay. So
And you also notice that she's got a sword at her side.
okay. So I'll lean over slightly and say, "Hi, I see you've been training there." And point at her sword.
No, my dad would not let me hold the blade, but he's not here anymore, and so he can't tell me what to do. So I'm going to kill Zayn Zane if I have to do it myself. Did my father tell you anything at all? Did he have any last words or anything that could help?
His last wish was for us to save this place and everybody in it. And I know without a doubt that he was especially thinking of you when he said that.
So when you say that, you see kind of her wince a little bit when those words escape her mouth. And she kind of puts her hand up at the holy symbol on your chest that was once her father's. And she kind of you just see tears begin to just stream as her fingers meet the holy symbol that sits adorned on your chest. And she says, "Maybe you should come with me."
I'll just nod and start to follow her.
So she leads you to a modest dwelling, just on the edge of the village, on the western part of the village. And there's no actual doors here because there's no wood. So it's just literally like strips of leather that act as a partition between the outside world and your dwelling. And so she goes in there, and she's half orc, so she can see in the dark. And you kind of stumble around, and she's, oh, sorry, I forgot. I used to have to do this for Dad too. And so she lights up an oil lamp, and you get a little bit of light. She pulls out something from one of the cots, from underneath the cot. It's a large box, a metal box. An 8-year-old should not be able to pull a large metal box. But she's in half-orc. She's a half-orc.
8-year-old,
Yeah, she's a half-orc. So you just see her just kind of pull it with both of her arms. And comes right out. It's about 4 foot long. And she opens it, and she gives you the book. This was my father's first prayer book, along with that first holy symbol. Maybe it will help guide you when you need it. So she kind of gives it over to you. And she reaches into the box, and she takes out a set of prayer beads. And I have them here. Hold on.
Yes.
And she says, this was what that holy symbol was affixed to when he first began his journey. And I guess he picked you as his successor, and I know he would want me to help you. So these are yours. There's one more thing. There was something. He was in search for something. I mean, obviously, he wanted to keep us all safe. But he would go out to the swamp looking for something. And it had to do with the church, and I don't know what it was. He would never tell me. He wouldn't even want me to hold a sword. But here I am holding a sword, so I guess I should tell you. I know it's something important. I don't know what it is, but he would be out for days looking for this thing, and I think it could help. At least he thought it could help, and I don't know what it is.
Did he tell anybody else about it?
Nope.
Well, I'll hold the beads in my hand, and thank you for these. I have no doubt they will come in handy in our fight.
What are you gonna do?
Well, first thing is we need to protect everybody here in this village. And then we will move on to Zayenda. You can know that Zayenda's fall began with your father's.
So she as soon as you say that, you just see tears just stream down her face, and she falls to her knees and just she just falls over like she doesn't even have a bone in her body. She's just face in the dirt, just ugly cry, full on.
So I'll just sort of stroke her head a couple times and saying, "No, your father would be quite proud of your bravery, whatever he may have said about that sword. He had a pretty good dose of bravery himself, and you may get to use that yet."
So she kind of looks up at you, and you see it's kind of a smile, and she says, "He was brave."
The bravest of them.
So she smiles even more as soon as you say that, and she goes, "Tell me everything he did. Tell me about what happened."
He fought some very, very tough enemies, and he gave them a show. He didn't go down easy, and when he did, it was to protect you and each and every person in this place.
So you see her smile now. Her tears give way to just pride, immense pride in her eyes, and she kind of perks up. She stands up, and her shoulders are back now, and she's standing straight up and very tall. She kind of nods. "Yeah, that sounds like my dad."
He lived and died with great purpose.
And it can't be for nothing. Right, Talvis?
That's right.
Okay. let's do this thing. She kind of walks out.
I'll follow her back out and go back to where I was talking to Barag.
Sure.
Talvis, where'd you go off to, my friend?
I just had a couple words with Makun there.
Milkoon.
Milkoon?
Yeah.
Milkoon.
Makun is another NPC that you guys met.
Oh, okay. I was getting that from somewhere. Okay.
It's an Elven.
She gifted me with her father's beads. They're quite potent.
Hey.
And
Are they gonna assist us in what we need to do here, my friend?
no, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I have yet to fully research their capabilities.
As you guys are speaking, you notice this too, Terra, from inside the temple, because you've been there, kind of like getting a moment in your own headspace. You notice it's getting much darker now. It is dark in the swamplands because there's very little light that actually breaks the canopy, but now it's getting dark. Night is falling. You see, a lot of the villagers are actually going from their day-to-day into the tavern. It seems like the tavern is kind of like the central location where people meet to trade news, help each other, and just unwind from a horrible day in the swamp, because every day is a horrible day in the swamp. So they talk about their flare-ups of malaria. Yeah, it's horrible.
As this happens, I looked at Talvis, and Talvis, I think if we want to spread word quick that we need to leave, I think the tavern is where we need to start, my friend. Everybody seems to be gathering there, and I think now is a good time, better than ever, because it's getting dark now.
Yes,
We need to move.
I'm totally afraid of the dark, Talvis.
Talvis, you must be afraid of the dark.
Put your handbook down.
I have dark vision, so...
We'll need...
That's an emergency situation. Player handbook down, everything stops. Pen to the book. Pen to the book. Alright, so...
CPR.
Yeah. I'll do it. So what do you guys do?
So we're in the tavern now.
I want to move to the tavern.
So you guys head to the tavern?
I'm going to head to the tavern,
Okay,
and
I'm
I'm
going
going
to go with-
Talvis to go with you.
Sure.
Is there anybody in the temple?
Okay, so Terra, you head to the tavern.
Yes.
Okay. So as you head to the tavern, it is night. It is somewhat busy. There's a bit of energy in the air because of the 4 newcomers. And then, of course, Denny and Sturinya are here. And so everybody is in the tavern right now, kind of trading news and information, sharing drinks of water, and very poorly watered down ale, which Barag, you in particular, will find very offensive. And you do see Milkoon is at a table. She's being looked after by some of the local villagers, but you do notice she's got a sword by her side.
So I'm gonna go up to her.
Okay.
How is she
and
sitting?
as you're kind of like scanning the tavern, you do see Daedauls, and he's eating a large portion of gator steak. Daedauls, does the chef recommend? Is this good?
Yes.
Yes, thumbs up from Daedauls.
So I'm gonna just look over to him as he's giving me the thumbs up, and I'm just gonna go, like, put my thumb in like neutral, and then just flip it up and just give a big cheesy grin.
Nice. All right, so you sit over by Milkoon's table.
Yes.
Okay. So she's there. Like I said, she's being looked after by some of the local town folk. This village is a village of people with mixed bloodlines and lineages. So they have been disenfranchised from both sides of their heritage. Half-elves never truly belong with their elven clans, and they never belong in the human world. So, and all of these people have faced that sort of abject isolation
Yeah.
And so, really, this village is the only place that they can be in a large community of people who know exactly what everybody else has been through. So, they literally, it takes a village to raise a child. That's kind of how this village operates. Like, everybody looks after everybody else. Everybody's responsible for everybody else. If one person doesn't eat, nobody eats. That's kind of like how this village operates, and you could tell that there's genuine concern for Milkoon and what she's going through right now.
Okay. So I'm just gonna look at her and, where'd you get that sword there?
It's rusty and it is old, and I found it a long time ago and buried it in a stump of a tree. And my dad would never let me use weapons. He said he always thought that it would only be him to do that, and that's not what he fought for me to use weapons like this. And so I found it in the swamp and I hid it, because I thought it was kind of cool, kind of old looking, and but now I kind of have to take some of this rust off. He's not here, and I don't know what I'm feeling right now. I feel like I need to kill her.
I get where you're coming from, more than you would like to know, but a weapon like that, especially a big sword like that, doesn't belong with such a little lady like yourself.
Oh, I know, it comes up to my hip. I can barely swing this thing.
You need something smaller, something that you can strike quick and true, do enough damage as that rusty sword, something you can use with your stature.
My stature?
Aye, you've got the works of a rogue right there.
So she says, really? And as she says that, she smiles, and you can see these two little mini tusks kind of jutting from her jaw as she smiles. She's like, really?
Aye.
A rogue, like, with daggers?
Aye, like myself. So
a lot of people think those are thieves and stuff.
Oh, no, we come in all the shapes and sizes. Sure, rogues, I can't vouch for the rest of them. Some of them are thieves, some of them do things that they shouldn't do. But
so when you say that, she goes, my father would never allow me to be it. Well, yeah, she gets sad, and I guess he doesn't really have much of an opinion now.
Well, you must put his opinion to heart. What do you think you should do?
I don't know what I should do right now.
Listen, you need someone to teach you. The least I can do is teach you to defend yourself. In case me and my compatriots aren't here, you need to learn how to defend yourself, right?
She goes, you can kind of see like a light bulb kind of shine. She goes, defend myself. She's, yeah, I do need to learn how to defend myself, because it's kind of a dangerous world out there, right?
Aye.
She may come invade, right?
Aye, she might, but I won't let her come here to harm anyone, including you. But
I should still learn, right?
Of course.
So you see that kind of toothy grin kind of go really from ear to ear, and she's like, oh, well, what do I do? Like, do we have to steal anything? I don't want to steal anything.
No, you're not gonna have to steal anything. Lucky for you, I've got plenty of daggers.
Daggers? I never thought of daggers. Being half orc, I always thought like a big sword or an axe or something like Barag, because
I've had many on my crew. Some like yourself, half orc, half elf, dwarves. I've seen many people, all shapes and sizes, carry with the swiftness of daggers. Just because you're tall and you're big in stature doesn't mean you can't be as finesse as little old me here.
So you see, she's actually kind of getting excited. She's like, well, what's my first mission? Do I have to kill anybody? I don't want to kill anybody.
You are not going to kill anybody.
I don't want to kill one person.
I sympathize with you on that. Come, why don't we... Do you know of a place where I can teach you at least a little bit?
Yeah, by this by the stables. Some of the men folk and some of the women folk who train in fighting, they have kind of like a training ground, and they have stumps that come out of the swamp, and they kind of cut on those for a little bit.
All right. So I'm going to go into my pouch and take out my 2 regular daggers that I have, and I'm going to say, okay, these are not toys. I will show you how to defend yourself. Why don't you follow the way?
Sure. So as soon as you pull out that dagger and start talking to her, you see a half-elf, half-human woman come up to you and kind of put her hands around Milcune's ears, almost like earmuffs, and she's like, "Are you sure you should be giving a child daggers?"
I'm only teaching her. That is all.
Young miss, and she just kind of walks off in a huff. So don't worry, she's the school teacher here. She's a little uptight.
I know. Trust me, we had plenty of those back where I'm from.
So all right, let's go. So she runs out of the tavern, and you follow her.
Yes.
Okay. So she leads you behind the stable, and as you pass in the stable, you see the very, very large Starunia, the mighty woolly rhino, in her stable, and her stable is huge. And next to Starunia's stable, you see another stable that is even bigger than hers, but you don't see anything in there as of right now. And then you do see, other mounts, regular mounts, horses for the most part. So.
Okay.
And you see actually even a couple of large mastiffs as well with saddles on their backs. So probably for gnomes or gnomish type people.
Okay.
So she takes you to the back of the stable, and you do see large stumps. Some of them have targets painted on them, and you see, there were chops being taken from these stumps. So she was like, well, this is it. So what do? I just kind of stab like this, and she just grabs one of the daggers and almost stabs it like a very Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers type of, like, do I stab it like this?
All right. First, we need to get you into a proper fighting stance. All right? Before you start stabbing things, you need to have proper posture.
I've seen my dad do this. So she kind of spreads her legs a little bit. Her knees are shoulder width apart, and then she grabs the dagger like a sword. Both hands on the hilt of the dagger, like this. And she has it right in front of her like a sword.
All right. I'm gonna go up to her and kind of position her hands, and then
Sure.
I'm gonna have like 2 daggers in her hands, and I'm gonna just say, okay, now you're going to bob and weave. What that means is you're gonna keep light on your feet. Hold those daggers tight. You don't want those slipping from you, right?
Lights on my feet, hold them tight. Okay, got it.
All right. Now when you swing, you don't want to pull the knife too far to your chest on the opposite side. So you swing out and in.
Out and in, out and in. Okay,
Okay?
got it.
Just keep on practicing that for now, and then we will start seeing what we can do with those targets.
All right. So I'm gonna roll her attack rolls on the targets. Okay. I'm gonna roll 3. It's all 3. So here we go. Come on, Milcune. I'm pulling for her. Natural 20. So you see her do this thing like you don't even see experts with daggers do. She kind of flips it and comes right back with it. Wow, you're impressed. Second roll. Come on. I'm really pulling for her. Natural 15. Okay, not bad. So again, another very expertly placed jab. She can hurt somebody, this kid. The last one. All right, come on, you can do it. Give me another 20. Natural 14. Not bad. It was close. Not bad. So you see her. She's got some potential. You're kind of impressed.
All right, sweetheart. I can see there you're, like I said before, just because you're tall doesn't mean you don't have finesse, and that right there, you look like you have a promising future.
Yeah, so she's just practicing. It's very, very good. So do you guys go back to the tavern?
I'm just gonna... Do you need some water, dear?
Yeah. Let's go back in and get something to eat. I haven't eaten all day.
Alright. Well, as your trainer, I will make sure that you don't spend the copper. I will buy your dinner today.
Yes.
You
score.
You did so well, my dear.
Am I the best student you ever had?
The best and only student I've ever had.
So by default, I am kind of the best.
You are.
That's true. I am the best. So she's walking, and as you guys are walking to the tavern, you see her kind of practicing her bobbing and weaving and her footwork, and she's like, "I'm the best," and she's just doing the thrusts with the daggers. Out and in, out and in. I'm the best. So you guys make your way back to the tavern. So Talvis and Barag, Daedauls is chowing. Daedalus is so into this gator steak that Denny is sitting right across the table from Daedalus. Daedalus just has gator grease on his face. Some of it's smeared on his armor, or it's not armor, but you wear you don't even wear armor. You got mage armor. So just on his coat, you see gator grease on his coat. And then he's just kind of sitting across from Daedalus, and he's got his mouth half open, like he can't believe what he's seeing. So he's just staring incredulously at Daedalus, just going to town on this gator, and Daedalus is completely focused on nothing but the gator steak. Just got his plate his face in the plate. And so then he kind of sees you guys and kind of motions. He's like, "See, he always like this."
No, this is more me.
I lean over the table and kind of look at the plate and back at Daedalus. How's the meat?
2 thumbs up. Go and get it.
Daedalus, my friend, are you actually chewing? Are you just inhaling it, my friend?
He swallowed the first half. He inhaled it, and I don't know where it is. I think I still see the shape of it in his chest. There it is. Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yes, I gotta eat something. So I go over to the bar and hail the bartender.
So yeah, you see a human gentleman with a big handlebar mustache, old-timey 30s. You like he was a boxer or something back in the day. But yeah, you see him. What can I get for you, lad?
I'll have
the gator steak. That's great because it's the only thing on the menu.
That must be what he's having then. Yes. One of those, please.
Very good. Medium, rare, or well done. You want it burnt?
I
recommend burnt. Parasites and all.
Yeah, you would know. I'll take it burnt.
Parasites. They're a thing out here, trust me.
Oh, I'm just like rubbing my forehead.
You're starting to sweat now.
You get this over with.
Yeah. Good thing you're a cleric.
Yeah.
You can heal yourself. So he goes back to. There is no real kitchen in this tavern. It's just like I said. It's just pillars and a plank of wood for the bar, and then there's like a grill 2 feet away from the bar. Mm-hmm. That's the kitchen.
It's a very safe kitchen.
It's I mean, it's definitely not up to code. It doesn't have an A rating. So there's gator grease like at the bottom of the grill, like on the floor where the grill is mounted into the floor. There's like a puddle of gator grease.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, it'll catch flame from the heat from the grill, and he just kind of puts it out with his foot. You could just see splashes of gator grease, kind of just flung everywhere, and he kind of looks at you as he's cooking it up.
Smile.
Yes, you're gonna love this. You're gonna love this, lad.
Yeah, I trust you.
Trust in the gator.
Oh my.
So he does eventually give you your gator steak, and as he does, just under the make an intuition. I'm not playing Marvel superheroes. Make an intelligence check. It's good enough. All right. So you do notice that would be a perception. Sorry. You do notice that he kind of slips you a piece of paper underneath the plate of the steak. So
okay, so I read it.
It says, "To the temple with your compatriots."
So I hold that in one hand so as to not stain it with gator grease.
Oh, it's too late.
And it's already sopping.
Yeah, we've already crossed that bridge.
Okay, this is legible.
It's legible, but barely.
So,
as a matter of fact, you think it was written in gator grease.
So I make my way back to the table, and I sit down with my freshly burnt gator steak. I start digging in,
It smells really good.
and yeah, I'm getting it down.
Natural 20 for the cooking skills.
Yes.
Man, this is really good gator steak.
Best fucking food you've ever eaten.
I've got a mouthful, and I just look over to Daedalus and give him 2 thumbs up.
Daedalus is super happy right now.
Yeah. And as I do that, I'm going to slide the note over to him.
To Daedalus?
Yeah.
Sure.
What's this?
So it's written in gator grease, but it's legible, and it says you and your compatriots to the temple.
So they don't have quills out here.
Well, they may not. Barag, what are you doing?
I'm actually gonna go find the elder.
The elder.
Yeah,
Sure.
I wanna speak to her.
Okay. So you do find her. Hold on one second. So yeah, Barag, you do find her. She's there in the tavern, enjoying the water, as it were. The water is slightly murky. Yeah, slightly murky. But she is there, and she seems to be keeping an attentive eye on Milcoon.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time trying to assuage everybody's fears that, they don't really have any new information. Don't panic. We'll figure it out, sort of thing. So you see, Thupneem is there.
I'm gonna make my way towards her, but as I do that, I'm gonna motion for Talvis to join me.
Okay.
So I will walk over and join him.
Okay. I'll say make a perception check because you're going to town on the natural 20 rolled.
That's right.
In all fairness. That was a cock dice.
Yeah, that sure is.
Here, roll in here.
I'm used to my square thing, slightly different dimensions.
The square thing.
Perception.
That's a 4. That's a
But
natural
I have a
4.
6 modifier.
You do not have a 6 modifier.
Perception, yeah. It's
So you rolled a modified 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, because you're proficient in it.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so this gator steak is amazing to you, and between inhaling one gulp of gator grease and then getting some gator steak in your mouth, you kind of see Barag kind of like motioning you over. He's over by Thupneem, who's the village elder. And he kind of motions you over.
How much of the gator steak?
In fact, Daedalus, why don't you go ahead and make a perception check? No, bro. You're licking that plate pretty clean. Alright, so
how much of the gator steak do I have left?
you still got a lot, man. Gator steaks are big.
So I'm gonna, as I see him motion out of the corner of my eye, I'm just gonna kind of point to the gator steak and hold up my finger and just kind of wave away for a second and keep going at it.
Alright, yeah, it's that good, dude.
Yeah,
It's that
I'm
good.
loving it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna see this. I'm gonna turn and I'm gonna walk towards him.
Inspiration, by the way.
I'm gonna grab the gator steak and walk towards Thupneem and set it down on the table with me.
Oh, so you grabbed his gator?
I'm gonna take his gator steak away from him. Forget Daedalus. He's already licking his plate clean. There's probably nothing left. So
Yes, yeah. You can lick that plate.
So he's at a different table with my gator steak?
yeah, I just took your gator steak.
From the table, and he just turned around without saying a word. Turned around and started walking back the other way.
Okay, so you set it down on the other table, right?
Well, he's on the way to the other.
Okay. So I'm gonna delay for a moment and let him get where he's going, so I know where he's taking my gator steak. And if we're saying he ends up at that other table and sets it down, I'm gonna get up and walk over, and without saying a word, I'm just gonna pick it up with my bare hand and continue to eat it, and just look at him. Okay. What do you want?
We have business to discuss with our friend, the elder Thupneem,
I
but
need to discuss with you how good this gator steak is. That bartender knows his stuff.
yes, I realize that.
But man,
And as a dwarf, I will let you finish your gator steak, my friend.
Well, we could have saved some time. So I walk back to the table with my gator stick and continue.
You should finish that while you are over here. That is why I brought it over here.
It's delicious in fact and in fiction.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I would like to finish it. I'll say as quickly as possible.
Without sacrificing the savor of it.
Right.
Gotcha.
So as to not perturb Barag anymore.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Alright, so we'll say it takes you a solid 16 minutes.
And I'm in the corner fuming, just getting my ears are turning red.
He's actually looking at you as he's eating each little bit of gator steak. He's kind of like looking at you and not like you guys are locking eyes, and he's not even like. Doesn't look like he's rushing too much. He's not in too much of a rush. He's just kind of looking at. Every once in a while, you see him like crack a smile as he begins to chew.
That was a natural Tony Gator steak.
Come on.
Okay, so
am I seeing all this?
I walk back over to where I see him.
All right. So you walk back over, licking your fingers.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna just start clapping from the corner of my room, just going.
So Terra does a slow clap.
Beautiful display of affection there.
So I look over, not really sure what she's doing, but
I'm just laughing at this point.
Oh my.
So, what's this urgent business?
I spoke with the elder earlier, Thubnim, that she needed to speak with you, so we must sit down with her. Before it's too late.
Okay. Is she here with us?
Yeah, she's at the table.
it.
She was watching the display of Barag's. He put on a clinic of diplomacy of how it should not be done. So she's fascinated by it. So
nice to meet you.
Yes, the gator steak is the best around.
I know, it's great.
Isn't it amazing?
I'm gonna miss it when we leave. I may have to take him with our personal party here.
You may. The cook is in demand.
Yeah, I bet.
So you bring distressing news.
Yes, most of it I believe you're already aware of.
I am aware of. Elud Remur has also told me about what happened at the temple. She believes something important still resides at the temple. As far as information, I understand that you got a relic. She believes it to be part of a ceremony. She mentioned that there are 3 parts. A weapon, a sacrifice, and a 3rd part which she's not sure of. So are you guys familiar with any of this?
I believe I know this weapon she speaks of. I've seen it.
You've seen it?
It's in the possession of Daedauls.
Oh, I didn't know that you saw it. I don't think she knows either. And the sacrifice was that to be you.
Knowing Zaenda, it could be any one of us.
I don't know, she took great care to keep you alive, though.
This is true.
Can I be completely honest?
Sure.
What is the nature of your relationship with Zaenda?
She's an old acquaintance. I'm afraid I can't get too much deeper into it.
You can't or you won't?
I won't.
Fair enough. I understand. Elud is planning another expedition. And then as she says that, you guys hear... almost like in Jurassic Park, when the T-Rex is walking, you just kind of hear the vibration and see it. Everybody's water starts to like ripple a little bit. So you do see everybody kind of looking out the window, and you just see this large, black, solid mass kind of pass by the window. It's quite disturbing, but nobody is panicking, nobody's running, everybody's just kind of looking as it passes the tavern. And she continues, she wants to get an expedition to go back out there. I can send people out with her, but I think for now, if it's okay, your place is here until we have more information, until we can come up with a plan. Or I don't think Sandazane's forces will go back to that tomb. I think she's relatively safe, and I think it's just she's going back for information, something we sorely need. But I think our strongest should stay maybe in the village in case.
I think I'd like to learn a little more about this information she's seeking before I take a side on that.
Sure. Understand. I believe she's still resting. She's still recovering from her injuries. All very, very taxing, and all those people, having died, it's taken a great mental toll on her. She's obviously grieving, as she knew all of those people very well. So I don't know that now is the best time to talk to her, maybe in the morning.
Sure, at her convenience.
So as you guys continue talking, you do see somebody kind of approach the door frame of the tavern. Now the door frame of the tavern is about 6 feet tall, and just like Juhan's domicile, it just kind of it doesn't have a door, but like strips of leather to kind of keep the weather out. But you see kind of a large bipedal humanoid on the other side of the door frame, and at least 7 feet tall. And he kind of has to crunch down to kind of get inside the door frame into the tavern. And as you guys are all kind of sipping your watered down beverages, and some of you guys are guzzling them, especially you, Barag. And you too, David, you're trying to get down that gator grease. You see a figure approaching the doorframe. And as he comes in, you notice he's got very dark green skin. And it's unmistakably that of an orc. You see the flesh kind of rippling underneath the skin, muscles and tendons popping like steel cables with every movement that he makes. Unlike most orcs, though, he is adorned with like custom clothing. From his elbows to his fingers, and from knee to the toes on his bare feet, he's wrapped in worn and well-kept leather, hand and foot wraps. You see long ebony hair. It's finely groomed, which is very un-orcish. But it's finely groomed, and he's got like wraps of thin leather strips, and he's decorated with the occasional brightly colored feather. You see a half-drunk villager begins to mutter something very loudly in the direction of the orc, until Denny kind of quickly shoots him a stern, quieting look at the patron, causing the drunkard to kind of fall silent. The tavern goes completely silent as the orc kind of scowls. You see the head that sits atop of this impossibly thick neck, scanning the tavern from left to right until he sees your guys' table. He kind of walks over to Barag, who's sipping his watered down ale, and he just kind of gives like a snort, orcs are known for that. He just kind of gives like a snort and walks off. Then he looks at Daedauls, not Daedauls, at Talvis, who's sitting right next to Barag, and he kind of like looks you up and down with a little hint of curiosity in his eye. Then he looks over to the next stranger in the tavern, Daedauls. And Daedalus does just that in typical Daedalus fashion. just waves. And the orc just kind of like, huh? Like, curious. And then finally he comes to the last stranger of the tavern. He walks up to Terra Highhill, who's sitting at a table, kind of watching all of this unfold. And he kind of looks over to you, and he has to actually crouch down on his knee because you're so short, and he's so big, he's so massive. So you just see this giant orc face. His head is as big as your chest, and he kind of leers into you, and you guys are face to face. And he smiles just a little bit. Is that me? No. He smiles just a little bit, and he grins, and he says, "This is the cutest little thing I've ever seen in my life. Denny, this is a pirate halfling, Denny." I think I'm in love. I think I love her.
What in the world? Say that.
So he kind of stands up and straightens up, and he's like, "Do we have a problem here, mister?"
No.
And you actually see like one of his tusks are actually broken. Now, actually, I need, who has history as a proficiency?
I do not.
You do not. Roll a history check, please.
So 9.
9. Okay, it's enough. It's relatively easy. So you know that in orc culture, it is a bad thing to have your tusks removed. It's almost like having your testicles removed. It's like a dishonor. It's a dishonor thing before you're cast out.
Mm-hmm.
But this one looks like it was probably busted in combat. So it would probably be looked at favorably in some orc tribes. So and you could tell again, it's probably the broken tusk that gives him that weird speech. So he's like, "Denny," and so Denny's like, "Ha! It's my twin brother." Yes, big son of a bitch, huh? We look alike, don't you think?
Oh.
Just say yes.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Exactly. Down to the boots.
Uncanny.
Yes.
Uncanny. Even sounded like.
Mirandus, come here. So Mirandus comes over and he's like, "Hey fellas," Rory for short.
Hi, Rory. I.
Why are you smiling at me? Do I have food on my face?
It's your voice. It's
very masculine.
Yeah, it's very unique for an orc. It's very
very suave,
masculine and elegant too. It's something else, really. I saw you taking an interest in my friend, Miss Honeywood. Her name's Terra. Yeah, I can. I can put in a good word for you if you wish.
Terra.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can work with that.
Okay.
So what are you guys doing here at the Elven Wilkster?
Well, we're actually here in the hopes of leaving pretty soon. Hopefully with the population in tow. We're trying to get them to safer ground away from Zion Zane's army.
Zion Zane. Somehow it sounds funny. A name that horrible sounds funny. Zion Zane.
Sounds less correct.
Yeah, it sure does. It almost makes you want to laugh.
Yeah.
I'm the only one laughing.
Zion Zane. So, what makes you think she's coming here?
She'll get here eventually. She's spreading as far and wide as she can, really. So it's just a matter of time, and we're not that far from there, do you know?
Yeah, but we're in the swamp. I mean, she's not going to be able to get heavy horse here or machinery.
I wouldn't put it past her for a moment.
Again, you're smiling at me. Is there something on my face?
I just had this really good alligator steak, and the memory.
The gator steak here is to die for,
and it's
just amazing,
lingering in my memory, and it's making me happy.
It's so good.
Yes.
It's so good. So. I'm not gonna be able to get. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. So, have you spoken to the village elder?
I just got done speaking to her, in fact.
And what was her advice?
Well, her advice was that we may need to stay here longer than we planned, but we haven't made a decision yet.
Oh, I just got here myself from a little reconnaissance.
Oh my.
So, they have completely moved away from the temple in the desert in the Sanguine Sands.
Okay, well that's good because we came from there and it was quite a mess.
Yeah, well, they're completely gone. I took care of the remains that were there.
Ah, well, that's very kind of you.
Okay, well I'm gonna get myself a gator steak.
Sounds good. I may end up getting another before I leave.
Let's do it.
Friend.
Talvis.
Talvis.
Talvis. Like you, Talvis.
Yeah, likewise.
You don't seem very shady. You seem on the very up and up.
I think the
I'm
best.
a pretty good judge of character.
Well, that's very good on you then.
Yeah.
I think the best shady people don't seem shady for what it's worth.
This feels like an ominous warning. If
Yeah,
I was
it's-
smarter, I'd probably know that.
But she's a pirate, so
That's true. Terra.
I'm not the shady one, really.
Terra. He just repeats her name as soon as you point to her.
You got it.
Terra.
Oh
Well,
my.
Do I hear any of
You
this?
get all of it.
I grabbed that note that I had shown to Daedauls and I slip it in front of Terra and Barag as well and say,
Am I sitting with them or am I sitting with the...
You can be sitting with him, sure.
Okay.
sure, let's say that.
We're all sitting together.
For the sake of that action, I just...
I'm over here.
So I'm gonna slip it in front of them.
You were there in stealth the whole time.
I'm gonna kind of tap the note real quick and say the
I'm gonna pick.
bartender there gave me that.
I'm gonna pick up the note real quick, hide it in front of my face, like mine. No, and I'm gonna read it.
So it's,
I'm gonna pass
it
it
just
to
says, in Gator Greece, you and your compatriots to the temple.
I'll show it to Terra and be like, "It seems that we're being summoned."
So you see Denny kind of looking at you and he's like, yeah, I know, I summoned you. I mean, I didn't summon you. I slipped in the note. I thought it would be very, cloak and dagger. Just in case there's any spies. You never know. Yes. So let's go.
Let's gonna move on.
Rory, bring the steak. So they both take off, and Rory actually puts a little bit of the steak on the tusk, like almost like a kebab, just to save for later, because it's good steak.
I'm gonna, I'll catch up with you guys in a moment. I'll be there. Just need to handle some business.
So you guys go leaving the tavern?
Yeah.
So, still a miserable night. It's still humid as hell. But Rory and Denny are very, very happy because they're sharing gator steaks. So. Brog didn't have any of the gator steaks.
I did not have any of the gator steaks this time.
Oh, wow.
You know,
And then-
I have to still try to fit my armor a little bit.
You are getting a little patty.
Yeah.
A little patty. from the Terransby village. It's true. Yeah. Alright. Terra?
I'm still in the tavern, right? So.
Sure.
I'm gonna, when they leave, I'm gonna go up to Milkoon.
Okay, Milkoon, yes.
And, I'm gonna, is she still, like, what is she doing right now?
She's there. She's there with the village elder. They're just kind of... She seems to be looked after, and they're very cautious about her having daggers. And they're kind of warning her, oh, maybe you shouldn't have those with you all the time. And she's like, no, I think I really should. And they're like, how about half the time? It's like, no, how about all the time? So you see her like, they're trying to negotiate with her and they're getting absolutely nowhere.
So, I'm gonna go up to her and, I see you're liking the daggers there, girl.
Yeah, sure am.
Alright.
Out, in, I'm the best. Got it.
You are, my dear. But we need to get you some custom made.
What?
I have some stuff through my travels. I have some good daggers right now. But we need to get you something custom. Now,
Made? Shouldn't I, like, be, like, your best awesome student that you can ever will have and ever can have first?
I'm just gonna...
I feel like I should earn that. I don't know. See, now I'm scared. Now I'm nervous.
I'm just
What
gonna
if I
place
don't
my...
live up? And then she just starts talking to herself like, you know, a girl her age would, like, start talking to herself. What if I don't live up? What if I make a mistake? What if I upset my teacher? What if I upset my father? What if my father's already upset? What do I do? And so she just...
I'm gonna just, like, pat her on the shoulder. Alright, calm down, calm down.
Okay.
You are not going to disappoint me.
Okay.
But listen.
Yes.
Listen to me very carefully. You do not, under any circumstances, go out of your way to hurt somebody with these things.
Oh, I won't. They are just meant for one person and one person only.
Zayn Dazayn.
So, yes. And you see kind of Thupneem kind of like, she's watching this very intently and she's got kind of like a very controlled, worried look on her face.
I'm just gonna take a hold of her hands and be like, and just look at her completely dead in the eyes and we'll be like, I know what you're going through, my dear, but you are too young to take a life, even Zayn Dazayn's.
I don't think I can let that pass.
My whole family is gone because of Zayenda. I know exactly what you're going through. I had a lovely house, a beautiful family, 2 annoying brothers like you wouldn't believe. My mother, my father, my whole village is gone. But you, and I'm going to point around her, you have everybody here. I have done things that I am not proud of, even to my compatriots. But they're not here, so they don't know that. This is between me and you, okay?
Okay.
I do not show me emotions. As a pirate, you learn to swashbuckle and do what you have to do as the captain to keep your composure. But even sometimes I'm afraid. And even sometimes I worry about the future, mine, and now I worry about yours.
Okay.
So listen to me. Even Zayn Dazayn, you will let me take care of that.
So she kind of like an 8-year-old girl would, gives you a very hard eye roll. Like,
Oh, you are more like me than I thought. This is what my mother meant. God damn it. Alright, listen. You want her dead?
I don't know what I want. I feel like, I don't know. I'm just confused and I don't know. I don't know right now. But I feel I should be part of whatever it is that happens to her. That I know for sure.
How about this? I teach you to defend yourself. And if anything bad were to happen, you'll know how to defend yourself against those assholes, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You gonna help defend your people?
Absolutely.
You gonna defend yourself?
Absolutely.
Then that's a big old middle finger to the Zayn Dazayn. Trust me, all you have to do for me is piss her off so that then I can go in for the kill. And I promise you, her head will be on the biggest pike this motherfucking world will ever see.
She was like, lady, that is a lot of cuss words.
I'm a pirate.
You see Thoop kind of earmuff, put her hands over her ears in an earmuff sort of fashion. She goes, that will be quite enough, Miss Highhill.
I'm a pirate. I've cursed in front of worse.
Yes, but you'll be cursing no more in front of...
Alright.
Alright. So, you head back out?
Yeah, I'm gonna head back out.
Okay. So, she's still very excited though. Your student. You see her kind of like trying to practice like a little sleight of hand with the daggers. Let me see. Just for the hell of it, let me roll.
Oh god.
2. It's a natural 2. So modified would be like a -1. So the dagger actually slips out and make a perception check. I want to see if you saw it. You did. You actually, so the dagger slips out of her hand as she's trying to do a little sleight of hand and kind of clangs on the floor. And you absolutely do see it, but do you let her know that you see it?
Be careful there, sweetheart.
So she's like, yes ma'am. And she picks up her dagger real quick and continues practicing.
And I'm gonna turn to her and say, remember, early in the morning, I want you outside of this tavern.
Yes ma'am.
So I'm gonna head out.
Okay. So you head out and you see Daedalus and you see Barag and you see Talvis along with Denny and Rory. You see big holes about 2 foot wide, look like something on 4 legs has passed through the muck of the that makes up the road at the Alderman Wilster in the village. So, but you see these giant pothole footprints of whatever passed the tavern. The missing tooth inn, as it were.
I'm just gonna look and... Are they far away from me, or...?
No, they're not far away from you. They're probably about 100 feet away. The temple isn't that far.
I'm gonna look at the footprints and look up. Do you guys see this? What the hell is this?
It's hard to miss.
Yeah. So you see Rory kind of smiles as he's eating his gator.
God.
He doesn't say anything, he just smiles.
And what the hell are you smiling at, asshole?
I knew you'd be impressed, Terra, that's all I'm smiling about.
Ooh.
Talvis!
What do you want me to do?
You know what you did, asshole.
He's pretty amazing. Not Terra, although she is that, but, Oh, she's at the stables right now. She's getting a good rub down.
Oh my god, I'm trying so hard not to laugh, guys. I'm trying so hard not to burst laughing. Because I will laugh through the rest of this session.
Alright. So I will kill Rory. Alright, no, I'm not. So, yeah, he's getting a good rub down at the stables right now. Yeah. So, we're gonna go into this temple or what, guys?
I guess.
Lead the way, my friend. After
Sure.
you.
So he takes a little cube of gator steak and pops it in his mouth as he goes into the temple. And his brother Denny follows close behind the well-groomed brothers, Truth Brow. And as you enter the temple is, for the most part, darkened. It's lit by candles. A lot of candles everywhere. When you enter, there's a large group of people. I mean, the temple is filled. It's about 30 people or so, of all types of different races. Some mixed blood, some pure blood, some dwarves, some elves. You do see some Arakakra. So you see a mix of different races. And they're at the altar of the temple is a large wooden. No, I don't want to say. It's basically a wooden chair, a large wooden chair. It's decorated, but it's modest. And there's a man that's sitting there. He's dressed in all leathers, buckled leather, very fancy, custom made leathers. He's got a long black overcoat with a riding cape and a hood over. He's got this leather mask that almost is like bird-like, like a beak, with large goggles. And underneath that, he's got a bushy beard with a bandana that kind of covers the lower half of his face. You see he's also got like a silver cane kind of leaning up against for the lack of a better word, throne. And a metal brace on one leg as he kind of looks at the four of you as you enter. So what do you guys do?
So I turn to Rory's brother.
Danny?
Danny. I turn to Danny and say, just this leader that I've been trying to meet this whole time.
Yeah. The Bright Rising Rebellion.
Yeah.
That's it.
This is the guy.
Crazy son of a bitch.
Okay, so I approach his chair and.
So as you approach, like, he quickly puts up a hand, and he slowly points it at Barag, and he says, "Keep that fucking dwarf away from me."
Oh shit! Why are you feeding his horn? How you been doing?
So he kind of stops, he recoils his hand, and he leans forward. And he slowly takes the hood off. He puts the goggles up on his head, then removes the leather mask, and sure enough, Daedalus, you are looking at the face of one Gryu Phoenix Horn. And he looks at you and he kind of cracks a smile, and he says, "You were always smart as a whip, Daedalus. I liked you."
Hi, you son of a bitch, you're alive!
I am. Thanks to you.
Hi, everybody deserves second chances, like I told you.
You're right. You know what? He kind of looks at you, Barag, for a second and goes, "I want to kill you so bad I can taste it."
How many sorries would it take
There's
in
not
ales?
There's not enough.
While
There's not enough.
While they're talking, I've just reached into my bag and I'm just twirling these manacles around. What I imagine are probably metal manacles.
His own manacles?
Yeah, well, technically they're the ones I bought after that.
The pink fuzzy manacles.
The pink
Manacles?
fuzzy
Okay,
ones.
alright, I dig it.
I'm just kind of, swing them around my hand back and forth a little bit and just kind of lock
So you make it obvious.
my gaze on him.
Sure.
And just kind of listen to what they're saying, but continually make this little show.
Yeah. So he kind of looks at you and he sees the manacles and sees that you're making it very obvious what you mean by that, and he goes, "You know what, Talvis? I always liked you. You may have been an asshole, but you were an honest asshole."
Yes, well, see how much you like me if you end up in these again.
Yeah. We'll see. So he looks over at Terra again. He goes like, I put this thing together, this Bright Rising Rebellion, and I did it to help people. That's it. And God damn you for, you guys were gone for a year. You left for a year and everything fell apart. And I was almost dead. But I'm just trying to save as many lives as I possibly can. And I made a very substantial spy network, an intelligence network. And I had found out just less than a day before it happened, the Terransby village. And he kind of signals, and then the crowd kind of parts, and you hear Terra, and then it's the voice of your brother, and then your other brother, Dan's Terra. And then your father comes, and then your mother comes. "Oh my God, it's Terra! Terra, she's alive!" And they just kind of swarm you. They almost knock you off your feet. They run at you so fast and hug you so hard, and tears are streaming. And then your father kind of gives you a big hug, and it's comforting because you never thought you'd get that hug again, and you get that second chance. And he's crying, and he's like, "Oh my God, Terra!"
I'm just gonna in bewilderment, I don't know much to do, and just tears are just falling. The emotions are just too much. They're overwhelmed. And
yeah, of course
I'm just gonna I'm just gonna cry and let whatever emotions I had just come out.
Okay. So he kind of looks at in Terra's direction and he says, "Now my debt is paid."
I'm just gonna turn around and pat my dad like on the shoulder to kind of like move aside so then I can get to Gryu. I'm gonna go up to him and just pat him and just say, "Hey, you asshole! You never had a debt."
So he kind of puts his hand on your shoulder and he goes, "Yeah, I kind of did." And you hear in the background, you hear, "This is so emotional, Daddy." Oh, yeah. Welcome to the Bright Rising Rebellion.
Yeah.
Well done.
I love this tune, the Bright Rising Rebellion. I'm ready to kill some people.
Well, you might get your chance very soon.
Hey man, there's an army and I'm just gonna add to it.
So, awesome guys.
Yes.
Anything else before we log off? Oh, once again, another shout out to Carl for the amazing graphic for episode 7. Again, episode 7 is 2 parts, so if you listen to the first part, there is a second part. And also, take a quick look at our friends over at Moonlight Wares. They're friends of the show. They make amazing cosplay leather goods. You can check them out at www.etsy.com/shop/Moonlight Wares, WARES. Other than that, guys, be safe, love each other, be happy, all that good stuff, and we'll see you next weekend. Anybody else got anything?
No,
All right,
I think
guys.
we're good.
Check it out.